All right, welcome to episode 5, everybody. This is attempt number 2. We actually recorded about an hour and 20 minutes worth, and for whatever reason, I did not choose the right input method, and so I had that recording but no sound.
Did not take.
It did not take, so this is take 2. Hopefully this will take just fine.
Take 2.
All right, we are talking with Andy Reid, who is a brown belt at Supremacy BJJ.
3-time Super Bowl champion in the last 5 years.
There you go. We met, 3 years ago?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
When we moved to Florida, I started going to Supremacy, and Andy was a purple belt back then, and I was a white belt, and I didn't have any friends in the area, and he seemed like a decent enough human being.
You looked lonely.
I did look lonely, and you knew a bunch of restaurants, and I think that's how it started the conversation, I said.
And you hated all of them.
Yeah,
I did tell you to go to Dockside Dave's to get a grouper sandwich, and then I asked you what you had, and you were like, "Oh, I got a hamburger." You don't get a hamburger at Dockside Dave's. You get a grouper sandwich.
It wasn't very good.
It was a hamburger at Dockside Dave's. Everybody knows you get a grouper sandwich.
Yep. And fried grouper sandwich.
Fried grouper
sandwich. Well, 3 years in, maybe that's what I'll do now. After going to the place you recommended and eating something other than what you recommended, maybe I'll actually finally eat what you recommended.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, so the original purpose of getting Andy to do this podcast was to learn a little bit about the real estate game. And Andy's got a lot of experience in it. And that's basically what we did.
That's a very good word, experience.
A lot of experience. And that's what we basically did for an hour and a half of what did not record. And after kind of sleeping on that podcast for a day, I think we decided that this one should be more Joe Rogan and less Jordan Peterson. And so we're just sitting here drinking tea and tequila and talking shit.
Well, not tequila yet. We're going to get there, though, because I'm almost out of tea.
There you go.
And it's a big cup.
That's awesome.
It's good. Yes. It's good.
All right.
So a little quick, background for real estate stuff. I got in the real estate game in 2000. Did the traditional retail real estate stuff for a few years. Met a broker. He showed me some investment stuff, some wholesaling stuff. And then that that changed when the market imploded in 2008. Everybody that was doing real estate had to become a short sale foreclosure expert, because if you didn't, you were going to starve. So we learned how to wholesale short sale deals and how to make some money through that stuff. And then a very good friend of mine that I met in real estate in 2000, another David, he and I partnered up, and from probably 2011, 12 to 2016, we were at a downtown bar on Beach Drive, just yakking away, and met this nice couple, and we were chit-chatting, and they wanted to get in the real estate game, and they wanted to flip a property, and we bought a foreclosure with them. We did the rehab, we flipped the property, they made money, we made money, they got all excited, and it went from having 50 to 100,000 to like 3.2 million in a matter of months with them and their family. And so we managed that for a few years, and then that started to become more like work and getting the whip cracked at you to move that money. And so I went on my own and did my own rehabs and stuff like that. And I've been fortunate enough to where I've worn the regular real estate agent hat that people know, to some wholesaling, to doing some lease options, lease purchases, contract for deeds, subject to deals, you name it. I've kind of done a whole lot of stuff, and I've been very fortunate in that. So, yeah.
Is one of them better than other ones?
No, it really just depends on what your
goals are.
What your goal is, what your tolerance is for risk. Is this fancy tea, by the way? Like expensive tea? It came out of a nice box. Did you make the box?
I did not make the box.
You did not make the box. Okay.
But yeah, it's expensive.
It's nice tea.
You
always have nice tea.
You definitely owe me a favor.
I buy cheap tea.
There you go.
I go to the Asian market and buy cheap tea.
Yeah, it's all right. Tea's tea.
So, it's not that one is better than the other. It just depends on what your goals are. What do you want to do? Do you want to get into the landlord game and have tenants and collect rent? Or do you want to do the wholesale game where, you're finding properties for other investors and, instead of taking a big chunk, you're taking a little bit because you're leaving a lot of meat on the bone for the investor to make, but then you're constantly always just kind of flipping properties to them and other investors, and your base hits win the game, and every now and then you get a home run or a double, but you're constantly just always making a little bit, making $5,000 here, $10,000 there, $15,000 here, and you're doing that.
But okay, so let's back up for a second,
Okay,
because from my perspective, I've never really looked at real estate as, first of all, I don't know much about it, other than people saying that it's everybody should own their own place and it's bad to rent. And again, I have my own feelings about it. They are subjective feelings, obviously, not based on any research, but nevertheless, they're there, especially that I'm generally a contrarian. So the more people tell me to buy shit, the less I want to do it.
Contrarian?
Is that a word?
Can you spell that?
There's a Q in there somewhere, I'm sure. It starts with a Q. And then CZ is silent. In my opinion...
Well, that goes what I said the other day with Warren Buffett. When people get greedy, you get scared. And when people get scared, you get greedy.
Correct. Because, the theory of wisdom of crowds, you should definitely look at what people are doing, and there's wisdom in it. But
sure.
in my mind, the general market is kind of dumb and fear-driven and impulsive. Yeah. And sort of fly by the seat of their pants. And so when everybody tells me to buy properties, it's probably the seller's market. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, and again, we can deep dive into it.
Yeah, yes, because if it's a seller's market, it's a good market. That means things are hitting the market. People are putting the regular Joe that doesn't know much, just got his license, is sticking a for sale sign out in front of the house, and he's got 6 offers in 48 hours, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is easy! Look how good of an agent I am."
Yeah, and dude, it's not him. It's the market.
It's not him. It's
correct.
the market.
That's right. Right, and so that's one side of it. And obviously, owning your own primary residence versus renting your own primary residence, and then there's kind of a long-term investment strategy, which is what you're talking about. Basically, taking a bunch of money, either buying rehabs or buying a bunch of properties that you then Airbnb. Kind of a long-term investment mechanism, as opposed to using that money, let's say, for other things. And, I usually look at it not from the perspective of, is it a good gig? But what else can I do with the money that could potentially make me more money than that real estate game? Yeah,
and that is a very good thought. And so my opinion on that is, when you are in the real estate game, and let's say, for instance, you want to be a landlord, you want to rent, like, someone told you, hey, buy a property, put a tenant in there, have them pay your debt ratio, your debt off, blah, 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 you're going to gain equity. That is all very true.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last time, too.
Yes, that's what we talked about last time. And it is a real tangible thing. That house is real. You can touch that wall, you can see it, and it's also fulfilling a need, a basic need that we need as human beings. We need shelter.
Shelter, right.
And with that, if you have the ability to own a property and and offer it to a tenant, and that tenant is paying down your debt service, your mortgage on that property, and you can collect enough rent to pay that mortgage, pay those taxes, pay that insurance. I feel that's a good thing, because that property as a whole over a long period of time is going to gain equity. Now, we did have an implosion in 2008. Most people remember that. I remember it. I got my hand caught in the cookie jar. I had a very large rental portfolio, and short sales and foreclosures later, plus a divorce, I got out of it. Mm-hmm.
But again, these are like black swan events.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's cyclical. Nobody's everybody was riding that wave. We all rode that wave up, buying properties, rehabbing them, renting them out, lease option. Like we were all like, hey, this is not going to end.
Everybody believed the hype. And ultimately you have to, because in order for the entire system to work, you have to believe the hype. It's exactly how marketing works, in fact.
Right.
It's like if nobody fucking believes marketing, that shit ain't working.
Right. So it imploded. I mean, we were doing, I shouldn't say weeks, I'm not a mortgage broker. Mortgages were being offered as like super teaser low rates, and then they balloon up after 3 to 5 years. They're called ARMs. A 3-year ARM, a 5-year ARM.
Balloons? Is that
no,
the same
it's not.
thing?
It's not. No, it's not a balloon. That's more like mortgages and like notes being due and stuff like that. And my personal little side note on that: balloons are for clowns. Never do a balloon because shit happens.
It's a good analogy.
Balloons are for clowns. No, so like a 3-year ARM, 5-year ARM, which we're doing those right now. We're doing the same shit we were back then. So a 3-year ARM is you get a teaser interest rate of 4%. Right now, our interest rates are running at like 7.5, and that's grade A paper. You're putting 20% down. You're good credit risk. So the first 3 years, that interest rate is at 4%. At the end of that 3 years, it goes to 7. So pretty much your principal and interest payment doubles.
Okay.
So that was happening back in 2004, 5, and 6. And a lot of it was predatory lending. Like these mortgage lenders, mortgage brokers, these banks should not have been given those loans. And they shouldn't have been given those loans because, and this came out, everybody knows this, you can Google it, you can read it, it's a known fact. That mortgage broker, if he could give you a FHA loan for $100,000, he might make, I don't know, $1,000 for his commission, yield spread, whatever you want to call it. If he puts you in a 3-1 ARM or 3-year ARM or a 5-year ARM, he's going to make $5,000.
Oh, wow. Loan. It was like that.
It's like that. So
because it's a much riskier loan.
The payout to the lender, because it's a low rate at the first 3 years or first 5 years or 4 years or whatever, but then it balloons up. That lender is going to make more money on the back end. So they paid a higher commission for those brokers to entice people to take those loans. Super risky, super bad, predatory lending, but it's crazy. Nobody went to jail over it. So,
is the assumption on a loan like that, the way it's sold essentially is they give you a lower rate and tell you that, hey, by the time the larger rate kicks around, we're going to be lower interest and you can refinance and kind of get out of it?
Correct.
Okay, so that's the sales pitch.
That was the pitch, right? You're going to get this low rate. Our market is super increasing right now. You're going to hold it for 3 years. At the 2.5-year mark, you're going to get a new appraisal. Your value is going to go up.
Your property is going to be double the price, and the rate's going to be half the...
Right, and then you can get a regular conventional mortgage and all this blah, 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 blah. And did that work for maybe the people that did that in 2003, 4, 5? Maybe. But the ones that did it in 5, 6, 7? Nope.
The problem is even for the people that it worked on early enough, they looked at it and they're like, oh shit, it works. Let me buy more properties.
Very, very possible.
Yeah, very possible. So they ended up with a bunch of properties they were holding in 2008.
And they all took it on the chin.
Yeah.
We all took it on the chin.
Yeah, I mean, the whole world, essentially.
Yeah, the whole world did. I mean, what was it? Iceland or Greenland? Their whole economy just collapsed, like gone, done.
Yep.
All right, where were we going with that?
The mechanism of real estate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there is the way to, get into it, buy a property, make some general repairs to it, and put a tenant in there and get them to pay the mortgage debt. Mm-hmm. You're gaining equity. They're paying down the debt. Maybe you're making a little bit a month. Maybe you're making a lot. It just really depends on where the market is and what rents are.
And we're talking about kind of a second investment property rather than a primary residence at this point.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. I think that's a good thing for people to do. But there's a lot of different ways to do stuff. One of the things which I was kind of glad that our other podcast didn't record, because I think this is a great vehicle for people. Your 401k, if you got one, great. That 401k, if you turn it into a self-directed 401k, you can buy real estate within that 401k, and there's no limit to the profit that can be made. Mm-hmm. So, for example, let's just use wholesaling as an example because it's easy. I use my 401k, and I use $1,000 for an escrow deposit to buy a property, to put a property under a purchase agreement, under a contract agreement. I take that contract and then I sell the property off to an investor. I buy the property for $100,000. I sell it to the investor for $120,000. I just made $20,000.
Where do you find properties that only require $1,000 escrows?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah. It's just an escrow deposit.
Okay.
Escrow deposits are negotiable.
Oh, that's a deposit. I see.
Yeah, the escrow deposit.
This isn't a down payment. This is an escrow deposit.
It's an escrow deposit. So, I sold that property off to an investor and I just made $20,000. How much are we allowed to contribute to our 401ks in 1 year?
I think 6.5.
It's like $6,000, $6.5, $7,000, whatever. Well, you just made 20. All that 20 goes into the 401k.
Tax free.
Tax deferred.
Tax deferred until.
Right. Because it's a self-directed IRA. So now imagine doing that where you purchase a property, $100,000, you put $50,000 into it, all from your 401k, and then you sell the property at $400,000, and you just made however $200,000. Yeah, a couple $100,000. That goes right back into your 401k.
Tax deferred again.
Tax deferred.
Interesting.
Great vehicle. Now, let's say you're fortunate and you've been building your 401k over years and you've got some money. You can play the hard money lender. A hard money lender is a private individual who lends to investors. And what those hard money lenders do is just kind of look at the market value of the property, what they're paying, what that investor's paying for the property, how much in rehab, and what that end thing is going to be. It's not a bank. They're not pulling credit. They're not doing anything like that. They're looking at the actual investment property.
They might still pull the credit and look at the risks involved.
Maybe, but a lot of times, all the hard money lenders that I've dealt with, they look at the property, and then they go, "How many of these have you done? Can you show me in public record how you bought this, that, and the other?" They want to see some transactions. They want to see some deeds with your names on it.
Yeah, records of.
Yeah, because they know they're not a bank. They're really not pulling that. But anyhow, so you can play the hard money lender. Hard money lenders in our general area will require anywhere from 2 points to 5 points up front. That's a percentage. So again, easy numbers. You're going to borrow $100,000. They want two points right out of the gate. So that's $2,000 up front to them cash. And they're going to charge anywhere between 10% and 15% of interest-only payments until that property is sold.
Why would people do that rather than go to the bank?
Good question. People will do that because the property that they're buying cannot get financed.
Oh, because it's under the...
Because of certain repairs that have to be done. It's not going to pass a 4-point insurance inspection. The electrical's fucked. The windows are screwed. The roof's leaking, this, that, and the other. A Bank of America is not going to lend on that house.
It's almost a tear down, essentially.
Not a tear down. You should... I've done some magic with some houses. So that hard money lender serves a purpose. That gets the investor into that property. The hard money lender is in and out of the property relatively quickly. I know the gentleman that I worked with for a number of years, he wrote his hard money loan for a maximum of 12 months. I had to refinance him at 12 months. We never went that long. My goal from start to finish, from the time I purchased that shit box to the time I sold it, was 4 months. Which is realistic. You're hustling.
Okay, so
roof, kitchen, bathrooms, all that stuff, flooring, and it's not. So the rehab would take 2 months. You got to put it on the market. You got to get that buyer, and then the buyer has to go through their lending process
and then get approved, get
the appraisal,
set the closing date,
and you got to set the closing date. So my goal was always 4 months. Sometimes it happened faster. Sometimes it happened longer, but that was my goal.
Did you do one property at a time?
No. Okay.
Because the question that arises out of this is is there enough money on the table here? Because if it takes you 4 months to do it, that's and you're doing it one property at a time, that's 4 properties a year.
Yeah.
3 properties a year.
Okay. And then
And then so you have 3 properties a year, and you make $20K on each. That's $60,000. That's a shitty job.
if you're only doing one at a time, you're going to look at different margins. You
Right.
want bigger spreads.
Right.
So you may not be happy with 20, 30,000. You may need, because remember, if you're running those numbers out of the gate, you haven't even bought the property and you're running that number and you're already coming up with 20, you ain't making 20. You're going to make 12
Right.
because shit happens.
Right.
Multiple times we're like, yeah, let's rip out those cabinets, and you rip out the cabinets and the fucking kitchen wall falls.
Yeah, it's because there's mold in it.
Because it's mold or
Termites.
I did this one up in Palm Harbor. We're in the master bathroom. I shouldn't say. My guys are in the master bathroom and they're demoing it. And all of a sudden I just hear Reid. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what? And I walk into the master bathroom and I'm looking at the neighbor's house.
Oh, shit.
And I didn't know this. Bees are just as destructive as termites.
Bees or wasps?
Bees. They honeycomb the inside of that, and it just ate everything away. Luckily, it happened on a Friday, and I'm like, you motherfuckers are getting this shit done. That wall's going up ASAP. Like, fucking put a tarp outside, and you guys are working Saturday and Sunday, close up that wall. But that was another $4,000.
Right. So what, they rip out the nest and kind of fumigate the bees, and then, or like you leave it in there and you fucking close it up and hope it passes inspection.
I mean,
while you make sure the kitchen has...
called a bee mitigator, and they came and collected the bees, and then we closed up the wall.
That's the trade-off. The money you lose on fumigating the bees, you save on not putting the wall for the fridge.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, the wall for the fridge. Yeah, nobody understands that. We'll have to get to that. So, where are we going with that? Rehabbing.
Rehabbing and the amount of money.
Yeah. So, So, if you're like, so if you're only doing one at a time, you want a bigger spread. So when you are doing those rough numbers, when you're standing out in front of that house, hey, it needs a roof, it needs this, it needs that, If you're at 20 and you haven't even bought the house yet, that's not a good deal for you. That's not the deal for you. If you're doing one at a time, you probably need to be north of 50.
50, right.
And again, it's what market are you in? So we've got a buddy in jiu-jitsu. He came from a huge metropolitan area, and he and I were talking about rehabbing properties. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about buying shit boxes for $1 million, $2 million. I'm like, you're buying a fucking shit box for $2 million.
How can you buy? What kind of shit boxes are these?
There's just shitty houses. But the market that he was in when he rehabbed those, he would drop like, I don't know, like I think one of the examples he gave me, he was like, yeah, we paid like 1.1 for this house. I put 300 into it. So I was into it for like 1.4, 1.5. And he was like, I sold it for 2.2. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Where is this?
Some huge metropolitan area.
Not Tampa.
No.
We're talking like other cities.
We're talking huge. Yeah. We're talking like New York size, Chicago size, like huge metropolitan area.
Okay, makes sense.
And I don't want to name drop because, I didn't talk to him about it. And all
yeah, it's fine. Fine, protect your sources.
Yeah. So, it's just where you're at. So with rehabbing, I can only speak about the greater Tampa Bay area because that's where I was. That's where I rehabbed. And when my partner and I, when we were managing that $3 million plus, we always needed to make sure we were always rolling probably at least 4 houses at a time.
Mm-hmm. Every 4 months, you're flipping 4 houses.
Oh, every month we had probably 3 closings. Like we're closing all the time.
It's like a pipeline.
Yeah. Because you got to load it. You got to load the pipe. You got it because things get delayed. You have problems with permits,
crews. Availability of crews.
All of a sudden, that painter and this is, mind you, everybody, this is back in 2011 and 12 and all that. That $15 an hour painter all of a sudden crosses his arms and he's like, fuck you, I want 20. And we're like, well, dude, you paint like fucking $7 an hour. You suck, you drip, but yet you want 20 and he's the only guy available. And you're like, oh, fucker, come on. So things happen. So you got to build that pipeline if you're rolling that kind of business and system.
It's a lot of risk, but like any other business, to be honest.
Yeah, and what happened, so we were managing those funds for that family, and the way that we set our agreements up, they always kind of acted as a hard money lender. So no matter what, they made money on their investment. They always got their points. They always got their interest rate. And then when it came time at the end for our profit sharing, we had different splits. So they were always making money.
Were you making money?
Was I? Yeah, but it didn't feel like it because you just get the phone call. So I was out of David and I. David was the rehabber. I was the buyer. So all I did, I sat in front of a fucking computer and I just combed through foreclosures and MLS and leads, and my job was to buy.
Find properties.
Find properties. That was my job. And it's
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Like, people don't understand how, like, I work 7 days a week. Shayna, she would hop in the car with me on Saturdays and Sundays. If I had a big auction week where I was looking at maybe 30 properties in the week to bid on, Saturday and Sunday, we drove all 30 of those properties.
Damn, and were they all at different parts of town?
They were everywhere.
Different counties.
Yeah, different counties, but and then you work your route on. You better be very good at your driving because you don't want to zigzag all around.
No left turns.
All left turns. Yeah, or all right turns, whatever. And God bless her, she would go with me, and you got to look at these houses, and a lot of them were foreclosures and they were empty, and you gotta.
Are you buying them from the bank essentially?
Yeah. So during that time, there were so many foreclosures because everybody was just walking away. This is when the market imploded.
The banks couldn't handle their own stuff, so there was like MROs. I remember
there was at least in Florida, there was a third-party website that hosted all the foreclosure auctions. Mm-hmm. So you'd get your list, and you would do your big comb through, and like, I'm not looking at those, but I'm gonna look at these, and out of those, I'd run some rough numbers and go, okay, out of that 50, I want to look at these 30. Mm-hmm. So Saturday and Sunday, I'm driving, looking at these 30, trying to look inside them.
The best you could.
Be surprised what happens with the screwdriver.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody make sure you deadbolt your doors. Don't just do the little lock. Do the deadbolt. And then come Monday, we start bidding. And out of those 30, I might have gone, okay, I'm bidding on these 20. Mm-hmm. So you're sitting there and you're watching the auction, you're watching the bidding, and out of those 20, 10 just get taken away.
By people who outbid you?
Nope. Just taken away. They didn't have the lender didn't have the right forms done.
They come off the market essentially.
They come out of the thing. So you're like, oh, fuck. So now you got 10. So when we first started doing all that bidding, there was only maybe 20 guys, and because you recognize the names that
who ran similar firms,
because you can see the names of the bidders, and then as it kind of progressed into 2014,
everybody
15,
came into it.
Started getting, now there's 30 guys, now there's 45 guys, now there's 70 guys.
So each of those properties is getting
it's just driving the price up. So that shitbox that we're buying in 2012 for $75,000, now all of a sudden in 2014 is $150. And now everything is going up at the same time.
But your profits are kind of...
the margins are kind of shrinking a little bit. And then your subcontractors see what's happening in the market. And they're like, oh, fucker, you just made $100,000 on this house. Well, no, I didn't make $100,000 on this house because I had to pay you and pay this guy and that. I made 12, 10, whatever. I had to split the money with my investor.
With the hard money lender.
Yeah, with the hard money lender, this, that, and the other. And now you got this painter that's worth $10 an hour, and he's like, fuck you, I want 20. Mm-hmm. Dude, you
and then all the painters kind of
right
understand what's happening, and everybody's charging 20 now.
Correct.
It's like unofficial price fixing.
Right. So
market driven, obviously.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so yeah. I guess it depends on which side of the equation you are in that sort of transaction, because if you're looking at it as an investment, it's better to be I don't know if it's better, but one way to look at it is a money lender and you don't work, but you let your money work, and you let people like you, for example, in that equation, do all the work and buy the place and rehab it and sell it, and you just collect your points.
You're collecting your points and your interest.
But the risk obviously is it's your money, so if shit goes sideways, it's like you lose the money. But you
don't lose the money though, because you
retain the property. But like, who the fuck needs the property that's like unsellable in the condition that it's
okay?
in?
But see, now here's the thing with hard money lenders looking at that property. So that property is a fixer upper. Hell, I'll use my personal home. So when Shane and I bought our home in 2013, we paid $150 for it. That neighborhood,
it's a good price.
Oh, dude! We gutted it. We took it down to the studs.
Oh,
like,
it's not the original house.
Fuck no, not even
it's
close.
Nice.
Dude, there was carpet in the bathrooms.
Oh,
like
no
it was
shit.
fucking gross. It was so bad. Purple and lavender. Fucking red countertops. It's horrible. So we used a hard money lender because nobody would lend. There was no financing happening on that house. It was in such bad condition.
When was it again?
2013. So got a hard money lender. And we bought the property. We're going to buy it for $150. Showed the lender like, hey, here's our purchase agreement. We're going to buy it for $150. He's like, okay, well, show me the comparable sales. So our home, in its current condition, in our neighborhood, was selling for $200,000. So he already had an instant $50,000 in equity already, and that's why he funded the deal. Yes, it is it's subject to. But okay, so I'm wrong. It wasn't $50,000. Maybe he had an instant
25 to 30.
25.
Sure.
So even if we screwed up and we did not refinance him out and we defaulted on the mortgage, maybe we gutted the place. Maybe we put our kitchen in. We put our flooring in. So now we've defaulted.
Yeah, but you've put some work in, and then so he's got more equity just than the place itself.
Right, like things have happened. So yes, it is a risk for that hard money lender, but at the same aspect too, if that person defaults, it is a private thing.
There's some recourse essentially. You don't lose all the money. You might end up with
it's just not very
some things you didn't want to end up with, but it's assets.
Yeah, it's just not very liquid.
Understood.
So
okay, and then the other side of it is, you and your friend Dave. So it's Dave. Like you guys did all the work.
Another Dave, yeah.
And it wasn't your money,
right?
So you're the workers behind making that money work.
Yep.
Like, was it worth it still? Because you
yes.
have to look at it from the perception of value to the amount of time you spent to what your financial output was.
Was it worth it? Yes.
Because are you better off in that equation being the lender, or are you better off being the worker?
The lender.
The lender.
You're always better off being the lender. You know why? Look at downtown St. Pete. Look at downtown Chicago. Look at downtown Tampa. Look at downtown New York. It's the Bank of America building, the Chase building, the JP Morgan building. All those lenders own the buildings. It's so much better being the lender.
Okay.
You're always going to come out as the lender.
Being the bank obviously is better than being the developer.
Yep, being the bank.
Okay, makes sense.
All right, I need a quick timeout.
All right.
Too much tea.
We're pausing. And we're back.
We had to have a training timeout. A TTO. Do you know what a TTO is? I just told you what a TTO is.
Oh, now I do.
That's a military thing.
Yeah?
Yep. Training timeout, a little TTO.
Yeah. You were Navy, right?
Yes.
You know what they say about the Navy, right? Many things. Some are good and some are neutral.
It's fucking horrible.
My sister's in the Army, so, the things she tells me about the Navy.
Yeah.
All right, back to the housing thing. So...
yeah.
So I understand very little, other than it's better to be the lender than the developer.
Well,
again, I'm sure it's not a horrible gig, because plenty of people who do housing developments are doing just fine and living in nice suburban and otherwise homes.
There's lots of guys out there that buy, rehab, resell, make a killing. They do great. They like it. from our relationship and your mindset, I would say to you, if you want to play the real estate game,
It's better to be the money guy.
You want to be the money guy.
Okay.
You want to look at some numbers. You want to drive by the house. You want to look at it. You want to look at what the purchase agreement is. You want to look at what the comparable sales are, how much work it's going to take, and you want to write the check.
And not deal with any of the rehab.
And not deal with any of the rehab.
Yeah. Well, that would be the case anyway. I barely deal with any rehab in my current house.
Yeah. So that's where I'm saying that. I've got plenty of friends that buy, sell rehab. They love it. They have a great time. They enjoy it. I enjoyed it when I did it. I know I overspent on my houses.
Mm-hmm.
And my margins were thin because I did that, because I rehabbed houses as if I was going to move into them.
Mm-hmm.
I went over the top in the kitchens. This is where we'll talk about the fridge panel. I had this weird little pet peeve of you got to wrap the refrigerator. And for those of you that don't know what wrapping the refrigerator is, if you walk into a house that you're interested in buying and you know it's a rehab deal, they went in, they flipped it and all this, and you look at the refrigerator, if you can see the side of the refrigerator, they did not wrap it. They did not finish the kitchen. The kitchen's unfinished. I personally like it when it's called a fridge panel. You put the fridge panel there, you put a cabinet on top of the refrigerator, but it's still not done.
You put a panel on the other side.
Now you need to put a panel on the other side.
Even if the fridge is in the middle of the kitchen?
Yes, you don't want to see the sides of the fridge.
Like at all?
You wrap the refrigerator.
Really?
You make it look like a cabinet.
Interesting. Unless it's against the wall, obviously.
Yes, if it's against the wall.
Actually, no, not true. Because I've seen one side of the fridge against the wall and the other side showing in between the top cabinet and the countertop. Yeah. And that's a problem you're saying.
It's tacky.
Okay.
Just wrap the fridge.
I see.
You've been to my kitchen.
Yeah.
One side of the refrigerator is against the wall. The other side is wrapped.
Yeah.
And we have uppers and lower cabinets next to it, but you can't see the side of the fridge.
Yeah, ours is wrapped.
Yours is wrapped.
Yeah.
And then you start going down the rabbit hole of, well, am I going to put crown molding in?
Mm-hmm.
Of course you are.
Backdrop.
Am I going to, well, that's backsplash.
Backsplash, whatever.
You got to put backsplash in. But you'll be surprised how many rehab guys cut that backsplash down.
Oh,
They only do it behind like the stove, and they do it behind the kitchen sink. Like, that's horse shit. Fucking wrap.
And the rest is like a little border.
Yeah, just
going up from the countertop.
Do the whole kitchen, make it look nice. Come on, man. So then you start getting in a crown. Then you start getting in the light rails. That's the crown that's on the bottom of the cabinets. That's where you hide your under the cabinet lights, which most don't do. I always did because that's nice. That's a nice little aesthetic thing. The husband and wife walk in and they look at the kitchen and they go, "Oh wow, this is nice." And they hit the light switch and they go, "Ooh, that's nice." But it's silly little stuff that just
helps
takes time.
Sell the place.
Helps sell the stuff. And then did you buy the big upper cabinets or did you buy the little shitty ones?
The ones that go all the way to the ceiling, or the ones that kind of just hang with the space above it?
With the big space above.
With the big space above it, yeah.
Right. Those are all those little things that I just did. And then I had a couple wholesale guys. Dude, they knew I was a sucker for a bungalow. I love those old St. Pete bungalows. They're fucking labor of love.
What is a bungalow?
Just a smaller, 2-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2 house, but typically smaller. They got the wooden front porches. It's what you think a southern house looks like.
Okay.
All wood frame.
Okay.
All heart of pine floors. Like, they are labors of love. Like, shit is wrong with them. But I would go period. I would find the octagon tile to go down in the kitchen. That wasn't $2 a square foot. Fucking shit was $18 a square foot.
Damn.
But I wanted that floor to look period. And I would, and it helps the house sell that much faster, but you can still only get so much for the house.
Less profit,
because it's got to appraise. You can stretch it a little bit, but you can't go too crazy.
Yeah. Right. The appraisals are based not on the condition of the house, but on the neighborhood.
The neighborhood
sales pricing
and the condition of the home
within reason.
Within reason, right? Because we got in trouble with that in 2004, 5, and 6. So when 11, 12, 13 was coming around, back before the implosion, we could pick the appraisal. We could pick the appraiser and submit it. Nope. Now it's changed. The lender picks the appraiser. and nobody knows who the appraiser is until that dude fucking contacts you to set up an appointment to go, hey, I need to come out and I need to appraise a house.
I see.
It's very hands off now, which it needed to be because things got out of control.
Fraud.
Rampant. It's crazy. Hey, make this,
Make this look as if it's
make this
higher
go
than-
to the contract price.
So nobody has to kick anything in.
And here's, maybe a little love on the side of something.
For sure.
Yeah. And oh man, that was so bad how that happened.
Yeah, I think all endeavors that don't have some degree of oversight tend to go toward corruption.
People get greedy.
Yeah,
People get greedy.
everywhere.
That's nice.
Good tea?
Dave, you always have nice tea.
I do.
Nice.
Have good coffee too and good tequila.
You don't drink coffee.
And
you drink
and,
espresso
and the wrapped refrigerator.
and a wrap refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Okay. Let's have some tequila.
Yeah.
Let's tell our listeners what this is. Cristianos?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that it?
Use your English accent to pronounce the name of that. All I know is it's a silver tequila. I don't know the price. I haven't had it before. It's a good-looking cork.
Dave, the price is not important.
It's clear. The price that is important.
It smells nice.
Yeah, we'll
Nice.
check it out.
A nice bouquet.
In the meantime, while you sip that down, let's think about the next topic of maybe Airbnb, because that's another avenue that everybody says is a potential investment. Obviously, it's all location.
Yeah.
And it's luck, because you can have a location, but then a hurricane comes in, and then now you're now your water line's still out, and your pool has moved 5 feet away from the foundation, and you're kind of fucked for the next 8 to 12 months. So nobody's moving in, but you still got to pay the mortgage. And so the question is,
And not just the mortgage, the special
assessment,
the special assessments that
and the
come
original
in,
assessment,
the hurricane deductible for the insurance for the property. Like it's a lot. Like
correct.
Dude, that's nauseating.
Correct. And it's possible you lost a car in that garage, and there's all kinds of shit.
Yeah. All right. So my experience with Airbnb is nothing.
Okay.
Directly.
You haven't Airbnb.
I haven't done an Airbnb.
Okay. But we know people who do it.
We know people who do it, and I have used an Airbnb.
Yeah, I've stayed at Airbnbs. They don't actually make any sense in most cases. Like whenever we go to an Airbnb, I like to generally travel like a local. However, when Jen's with me, and there's some truth to that, it's way better in a hotel. Because you don't have to fucking clean the bed, you don't have to pay the cleaning fee, you don't have to do the dishes.
Yep.
You just kind of wake up, you have your breakfast, and get the fuck out, and you're done.
Shayna,
And the price is almost the same most of the time.
or maybe less, at
Depending
the
on
hotel.
right.
Yeah, depending upon the hotel and stuff like that. Yeah, Shayna and I are on the same kick with that because we're like you and Jen, when we travel, we're not pigs, and like we're not partying it up and trashing the house, but yet we have this laundry list of things that we have to do.
Correct. Fold the towels, wash
it's like,
the dishes,
whatever,
take the garbage out,
Yeah, like what the fuck are you?
and still pay a $200 fee for cleaning.
Right.
Right. And so like as soon as you start figuring all that into the price, all of a sudden kind of a mid-range hotel, especially if you're getting it on points, makes way more sense. Absolutely.
Okay, here's your tequila, Dave.
All right, slide it through.
I know, I'm trying. Hold on, there you go. I'm sipping. I'm not shooting, just so you know.
I know.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. Cheers.
There you go. It's pretty good. Smooth.
That's good.
I know.
Ooh,
Add that to your list.
That's dangerous. El Cristiano. Right?
Yeah. So I would pronounce it if I spoke proper English.
What are those weird people that like the noises?
Oh, ASMR. the tequila sipping ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Airbnb stuff. Both of us know people that do it.
Location and luck based.
It's location. I think one of your friends has a very specialized. You know, he's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but he's on a freshwater river in Florida. So, you know, he's very niche and he's very full. He's got good capacity that he says. We've never seen his book, so we don't know.
But it's a container home.
Cheap
to build.
So it's low cost. Yep, low cost, all that stuff. So, you know, I think he's doing well. Even if he's inflated his stuff by 20%, 25%, he's still doing very well.
So yeah, there's a few things going for him. One is it's low cost to build. Two is even with, let's say, 50% occupancy throughout the year, it's standing on his property. So it's not like he's paying extra taxes for his shit.
Did he buy that property? Was he given that property? Did he inherit that property?
I think he bought the property. He bought a house. There's a property. It's probably like an acre or something.
Yeah.
And then he's got a house on it, and then there's that container home with a deck. And
does he live in the house?
Yeah, they go there. He doesn't live in the house, but that's kind of like a summer home. Weekend home, whatever. Yeah. So
like our stuff up at Wiki.
That's exactly right. Except for it's a bigger property, and then there's a container home standing on it, and so he's not paying taxes on it, and he's not paying a mortgage on it. So it's like any money that he makes is essentially free cash.
Yep.
So even at 50% occupancy, he's doing okay. Now, if you have a house or an apartment in a condo, or if you have a condo in a building next to the beach, you know, like one of our other friends, and at Treasure Island, it's great. I think he was at like 98% occupancy, and it was a top tier price, and it was a beautiful location, and
where everybody wants to be.
And there's a private beach. Correct. Except for now.
Yep. But again, that's that black swan event,
which happen all the time. No,
they happen
regularly. I wouldn't say all the time.
Cyclical, you know, 20, 30 years, things like that happen. I mean, this was our 100-year storm. Like, this was everyone's like, it didn't really hit St. Pete. Fuck that. That's it. When people ask me what Tampa Bay is 4 counties. Four. I don't know. It's Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, and Manatee. Four. That's what surrounds Tampa.
Manatee is... it's
right across the bridge.
It's not Sarasota?
They're Sarasota County, which is south of Manatee. Manatee County's first.
Okay.
Yeah. It gets a little weird.
Because as you drive to Sarasota, you're still kind of in the county.
You're going through Manatee County.
Manatee County, yeah. Because there's that hospital there. And
yeah, that's like Palmetto, Bradenton, all that stuff.
Okay.
Ellington. You can go to the mall there or whatever. So that's the Tampa Bay area. When people ask me, what's
Tampa Bay?
That's what I say. You know, and I'm not a native, but I've been here for fucking 40 years, so I feel like a native. Feel like a native.
You look like a native. You speak like a native. You act like a fucking native.
Dude, stop it. Don't make me go get Busch Light.
Exactly. Bring a fucking cooler with Busch Light in it.
I'm a good guest. I bring my own beer.
Yeah.
I don't expect anybody to provide my Busch Light.
Yeah, that's fine. Good for you.
Yeah. I'm a good guest.
There you go.
I even clean up.
There you go. Who's got a bar in his backyard? Fucking not a native.
Yeah, the bar. Oh, dude. You haven't seen the pictures of the plumbing. We're getting the plumbing fixed. You've never known us to have a working kitchen or guest bathroom. That shit is getting fixed.
That's probably true.
It is.
How long has it been down?
Since April 2021.
Oh shit! Yeah, we did not know.
Yeah, yep. So we're pretty excited about that because that means
parties.
The bar's open.
All right.
Because it just, it's just weird. Like, it's weird to walk through the master bedroom to go use the bathroom. Like, there's no Jack and Jill in our master bathroom. It's a little weird. Like,
I pee in the pool.
That's the wrong answer. I made a toilet behind the bar.
I stand on the side of the pool and then I pee right in.
Don't pee in the pool. No, that's going to get you
the Irish toilet. I call it the Irish toilet.
That's going to get you a knee to the sternum.
Yeah.
Did I hit you with that razor today, or was that Brad?
No, that was me.
Yeah, that fucking hurt.
Yeah,
that shit.
It was not pleasant. I didn't have to pee.
And then I heard Sal. Sal was like, "Oh, there it is."
Yeah, he was on the side.
I got to. I love that move. I love that move for guys our size, because anybody that is a little bit bigger than us,
it's hard to get.
No, it's not. We have to go over it. It's the hook. It's the hook around the elbow that you do with your own hand.
They turn. I had that on Moses today as we were doing the situational, because he kept putting his arm, he was posting on his arm from closed guard by my head. It was always there, and I tried it 3 times, and as I scooped it up, he bent it, and like an omoplata style, and I lost the razor.
Well, you can ask him how he's learned to react that way.
Yeah.
Because I have lit him up with that razor. But for guys our size, especially when we're in the gi and those bigger dudes go to push us off, it is right there all the time, every time.
Yeah, working on it.
Yep. It's work in progress.
Two more stripes. We'll work it out.
Yeah. Just like me. I mean, shit. Look at me. I'm almost 10 years in, and I still fuck up that near side squish armbar, the ham and cheese.
Yeah.
I still fuck it up.
Yeah, can't do it.
Almost 10 years.
And can't do an omoplata for the life of you.
I can do an omoplata.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have to fall into it.
Never seen it.
Neither have I.
It's a myth. It's an urban legend.
It is an urban legend. Man, that's tasty. Ooh, that's good. It's got good agave.
Us. So back to the parties.
Yeah. So back to the parties. Where I'm excited now.
When is it gonna be done?
Soon. How soon? Real soon. Like so the rough-in inspection hopefully is going to be next week. So once the rough-in's done, the plumber's going to come back. He's going to set all the other regular plumbing. He's going to get everything to the final, except I've got to put like the tile down. I got to do the finish work. So my love wants Thanksgiving at the house. So all that shit's got to be done by then.
There you go.
Which isn't that bad. I mean, it's a small amount of tile that I have to replace, but it's just, they're plumbers. They took hammered, jackhammers, cracking tile. So I have to pull up a lot of half broken pieces and little chip pieces, and I've got to replace that. So it's tedious.
Why don't you fill it with epoxy so you can see the pipe inside, and it'll be like a little tile. It'll make it kind of one of those reclaimed tables, they have the reclaimed wood with like acrylic in the middle.
Yep. We could do that with the shower, but that's no fun because you're just watching soap go down.
Right.
We could do it with clear pipe.
Kitchen would be better. If you put a clear pipe inside, you can see all your poop going down.
It could. It would be fun.
There you go. Every time you flush, you'll see it right through the floor.
See Mr. Hanky float down.
There you go. Right into the kitchen bar.
Right into the kitchen bar.
Backyard bar. Sure.
Okay, so Airbnb.
Yep.
People are successful with it. Just like you said, it's location, location, location. Anything in real estate is location, location, location. If you got the right location, you can survive almost anything because there's always going to be an ask for that seat. Somebody's going to want that house regardless of what the market is. Mm-hmm. The Airbnb thing, I think people make a lot of money with it. I think in our area, we are oversaturated because I know when I drive through my neighborhood and I drive through your neighborhood, which we're in the suburbs, we're in Seminole, you see these little signs of, hey, vote no on whatever fucking amendment.
Yeah,
don't turn my neighborhood into a hotel. And you have Clearwater, the Clearwater Hotel Association, you have the St. Pete Beach Hotel Association, like they're fighting those Airbnbs because they're taking money from those hotels, which, I can see the argument both ways, but those hotels employ hundreds of people.
Right.
And
it's more than just a place to stay. It's like they're giving jobs.
Yeah, there's restaurants.
They're part of the economy.
Yeah,
it's
there's
like,
restaurants there. The bar there. There's the young kids out back that are walking the beach, spraying people with suntan oil, and they're providing umbrellas and beach chairs and
valet dudes,
valet guy. Like there's a whole
kitchen
thing.
staff.
Yes, there's a whole thing out there. So like I get it. But I also get the point of like, hey, that's my house. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I own that piece of property. And if I want to rent it out, I want to rent it out however I want to rent it out.
Yeah.
So I get that too. So we got to just find this kind of happy medium somewhere. And I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, right. So the question is regulation or no regulation.
Yeah.
Because if you're voting no or you're voting yes, whatever the answer is at the end of that vote, which would mean then regulation comes in and prevents people from turning their houses into Airbnbs. And that's not a good idea to some degree, but I understand why that's happening.
Right. And I mean, we have an Airbnb in my neighborhood. It's 3 houses down from us. And I don't see the traffic in there. I know there's somebody there this weekend because I saw them pull in this weekend, but even before it's been an Airbnb for a while. So even before the hurricanes hit,
you'd never know whether anybody's there or not. Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't see it, and I know the house. All our houses in our neighborhood are fucking the same.
Right.
That builder went nuts in 1974, 1975. He built the same shit. So it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a Florida room that got enclosed. So it's about 2,100 square feet, and it's got a pool.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the house looks like.
You don't know whether anybody's there.
It's pretty quiet.
Yeah. It's also weird that because you and I are about 3 miles from the beach, and so 4. Depending on how you drive.
Sure.
Are people getting Airbnbs that far away from essentially vacation? Because I can see those places on the beach, those little houses across, the little short-term rentals or whatever. They're not necessarily even Airbnbs. They're like those little shacks that they rent, across from the 7th from Cookie Coconut.
Yep. I know exactly. I think those are great.
Those are absolutely awesome.
They're great.
They're not Airbnbs, but it's like
they're little mini hotels.
Correct. Somebody bought that property and built, dropped a bunch of mini homes on there, and now they're renting them out, and they're probably always occupied.
Always occupied.
Yeah.
Okay, so where would I stay? I would probably stay
in those places.
No, I would probably stay in
here,
a place like in my neighborhood.
Would you?
I'm close enough to the beach, but I'm not on the beach.
Yeah,
but I'm also skewed too because I live here and I know what beach traffic is. Beach traffic sucks.
But you also don't need a car. You literally just wake up in the morning, grab
and
your
you
towels,
walk,
and you fucking walk across, and you're right there.
So maybe if I lived in central Kentucky or Arkansas or something like that, I want to be on the beach. I want just what you said. I want to wake up, put my flops on, grab my cooler, grab my umbrella. I'm going to the beach
all day. You're there
all day.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? Now thinking about this with my my sister and her husband and their family, Roger, Big Raj, not big,
medium Raj.
Well, he's Roger Jr., Big Raj's dad, grandpa. They would get a place on the beach, and that motherfucker, come 10 o'clock in the morning, he is on the beach sitting in his chair with his cooler, and he is out there all day just getting roasted.
That's crazy.
Doesn't get off the beach until it's time to go to dinner. But, he's a general contractor in Kentucky. He's a grinder. He's a worker. And when he's here to be on the beach, he's on the beach.
Yeah.
He doesn't move from the beach. You want to go to Busch Gardens? Nope, I'm on the beach. You want to go over here? I'm on the beach.
Yeah, I don't get that lifestyle. It's a crazy lifestyle.
But
because we're from Chicago. We have like Lake Michigan, but it's like
it's his vacation though. So that's and there's a lot of people that are like that. Like they come here, they want to go to the beach. We take it for granted.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Shayna and I only go to the beach probably for sunset and then in the winter.
Whenever somebody comes and you're like, okay, let's spend a day at the beach just to show you what it's like.
Right.
And then come hang out in the backyard with the pool and the bar.
With the pool and the bar.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly right.
And most of the time when those folks do come to visit, they're coming in the winter, so the beach isn't, roasty. It's nice. It's enjoyable. Because I don't go to the beach without an umbrella or that 10 by 10 tent. Like,
you guys bring the little sand thing.
I'm in the shade.
Yeah.
I do not.
Even in the evening? Because, if you come there at like 4 p.m., you're actually okay.
So, right, if we go, so like summertime, if we're going for sunset and sunset's at 8 o'clock at night and we go there at 6, it's 5, 6, I'm still bringing my umbrella. And I'm going to have my big hat.
And what do you do?
With my cooler.
Yeah, with your fucking bush light.
You can't drink on the beach. That's illegal.
Oh, yeah?
I don't do that, Dave.
Put it in a paper bag.
No, I don't do that, Dave. I don't drink on the beach. That's illegal.
That's fine.
For those of you that are listening that are law enforcement, I do not drink on the beach. David drinks on the beach.
I don't even drink at all, actually.
Where's that tequila?
I don't know. It's full. Look at it.
It's full.
It's right here.
I think that glass is more than half empty, Dave.
Well, that's the pessimist of you speaking. It's half full, my friend. You guys go to the Indian Rocks, or you go to Madeira, or which one is the beach?
I've been here for 40 years and I still screw it up. So we go over Park Boulevard, hang a right. I think that's Indian Shores. And we usually park at the municipal building.
Like on the right side.
On the right side,
and
then we
walk
just
across.
walk across.
It's all right. We like the 7th entrance. All the Russians hang out by Cookie Coconut over there. All the kids are sent to Cookie Coconut with the cash, and then all the parents chill on the beach and not drink.
Just because you're not drinking doesn't mean you're not smoking.
No, I'm not smoking.
Oh, speaking of which, so a buddy of mine called me up randomly, David, my old partner. And he's like, hey, man, let me ask you a question. He's like, how are you voting on this marijuana thing? And I'm like, fuck.
It's a referendum coming?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't know. Okay,
I
so
don't know.
it's one of the amendments, whatever, number 3, number 4, number 10, I don't fucking know. But it's whether or not to make it recreational.
Uh-huh. In Florida. It's still by state, obviously.
It's still by state. So, and both he and I are...
On the fence?
We don't know, because you go to downtown St. Pete right now.
They're all smoking anyway.
They're all dude, it's so bad. And when we went to go visit Chicago in November, fucking cold.
You can smell it.
Still smell it.
Oh, yeah.
So here's Dave and I's like thing. We're like, okay, look, you can't drink and drive. Like, that's not allowed. How many times are you in your car and you see it, smell it, you got, you know, the
truck with the open window and then the guy with the tattoos and the beard.
Right, and he's got that blunt going right then and there. The problem, so like Dave and I's thing, we're like, look, I don't have a problem
The
making
Puerto Rican purple belt with the blunt.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm just saying in general.
I don't know. Racist, David. So our thing is, I guess it's got to come to enforcement, you know? I've never been to have you ever been to Amsterdam?
Yes.
Okay. So you're allowed to smoke weed in Amsterdam, right?
Only in the cafes.
Right. So let's make it kind of like that. Like, look, it's going to be recreational, but just like you can't, in downtown St. Pete, unless it's a special event, you can't walk around with an open container.
Yeah.
That's like most cops are going to go, hey, man, pour that shit out. Like, you can't do that. And if you're a dickhead, you're going to get hooked and gone.
Right.
You know, so have some enforcement, because I don't want to get a contact high.
Yeah. So
something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So how am I going to vote? I still don't know.
Yeah. So it's an interesting conundrum, because on the one hand, you don't want to turn the recreational availability into something that LA has, where everybody's fucking in the middle of the street smoking, and then you have all these, smoked up dudes just like chilling by the 7-Eleven, loitering and shit, and then it's like crime comes with that, and problems come with that, and shitty culture comes with that, and then like there goes your tourist.
People really doing crimes when they're high?
I don't know, weed.
Yeah, I don't.
They're probably doing crimes anyway.
They're probably, but I mean, unless they're sticking up 7-Eleven for the bag of
drugs
Fritos.
first, followed by crime, or is it crime first, followed by drugs?
I don't know. We're talking about marijuana. I don't see anybody doing anything with marijuana. But anyway, I got you.
Yeah.
I
think it's dirty, because you got people in the street that are fucking like smoked up. I'm walking there with my kids. It's
Right.
downtown St. Pete. Like people have, they're going to some concert or something, and they're dressed nice, and there's like children there, and then you got like fucking people smoking up. But
Right.
on the other hand, you got bars standing in the middle of the street, and you're still walking with your kids, and there's like plenty of drunk people like in the bar, talking shit
in the bar.
I know, but they're like
They're
the
in the
bars.
bar.
They're outside in the bar having a cigarette, and then like
Right.
I've done it. I'm sure you've done it.
I don't smoke, Dave.
I know, but you're standing outside with me, and I'm smoking, and we're both fucking 4 shots of tequila in,
Right.
And we're out there swearing, and there's like people with the kids,
I know.
and so it's like, what are you supposed to do about that?
I know.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
That dude was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I think there just needs to be some more guidelines with it. I don't want to say restrictions, and I don't want to say...
Same guidelines with alcohol?
Yeah, you got to be 21, which it is. You got to be 21. If you're going to drink, you got to be in a cafe or something or if you're going to smoke, you got to be in a cafe. You can't walk around smoking. Like, that doesn't happen. And, like, everyone's like, oh, it's a vape. Dude, there's a difference between the nicotine vape and the weed vape.
They still smell?
Oh, you can still smell it
Yeah.
in the weed. Oh, yeah, because there's always that hint. It's faint, but you're like...
It's in the air.
Oh, that's weed.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, that's just the douche flute that you're puffing on over there.
All right.
Whatever.
The flavor.
Yeah,
whatever.
the puff
Yeah.
the magic dragon, and they blow it out their fucking ear holes.
What about edibles?
Whatever.
Like,
What about
so is the
edibles?
problem is the problem the smell, or is the problem the conduct, or is the problem the legalization? Like, what's your problem here?
No, I don't have a problem. It's just
What's your problem here?
It's kind of the concern. I I do think it should be recreational, and we should tax the shit out of it because it's a huge money revenue, just like cigarettes and just like alcohol. Fucking make it legal. Taxes,
national or federally. Not even state by state. I'd say federally.
It's always going to be state by state. I don't think federally.
Alcohol is federally legal, no? Why not make marijuana legal?
No, I think alcohol is state by state, but I'm not sure. See, this is where we need Jamie. Jamie, look that shit up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think alcohol is federal. I think it's still state by state.
Dude, give me a state where alcohol is illegal.
Every state's legal. Alcohol.
Alcohol is legal.
Yeah.
In all the states.
Yeah.
And can you travel with liquor bottles across state borders?
I don't think you can.
I think you can.
I don't know.
Can you do it internationally? Can you buy something in duty free and bring it over country lines? Yes, you can. That means it's federally legal.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and look it up, though. So.
Yeah, I didn't even look it up.
Fucker.
I just I just used my logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so because I brought stuff from Mexico, I brought stuff from like tobacco, same thing.
See, but duty free is different though because you're buying it at the airport.
I know, but you're bringing it across country lines.
But it gets mixed because you're in the airport, so you're not bringing.
It's not a trade free zone. The airport. It still belongs to a country.
I gotcha. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's federally.
It's just
legal.
tax free.
Is it tax free?
It's duty free.
Honestly, I think it's built into the price.
Of course it is. They're not losing money.
Correct.
Right. Everybody's getting.
Correct. It's the NAFTA. It's the trade agreement.
All right. So marijuana. That's where we're at. I think it should be legal. I think we should tax the shit out of it. I just think there should be some guidelines to it. Just like alcohol, you can't walk around in downtown St. Pete with an open container.
Put it in a paper bag, and so you got
hide
your vape in a little paper envelope.
You have to put it in my thermos that I like to walk around and drink my beer out of.
Yeah, pour it in a Sprite bottle.
Yeah, whatever.
A flask or whatever.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, and you mentioned edibles. So yes, I can put my drink, my cocktail, in a
flask,
in a thermos, not a flask, because police know what a flask is, and they'll go, "You can't drink that."
Like one of those Tervis ones or whatever.
Like a tumbler. Just
a tumbler.
Let's not use any name brands. Let's keep it
into a
unsponsored.
Into a Yetter.
Well, you get that on Temu. And I'm drinking as I'm walking.
Yeah.
So that the marijuana person is going to go, that's unfair because you're walking around drinking, not getting stopped because you're in your tumbler.
Correct.
Okay, fine. You want to walk around and have your marijuana? Eat it.
Yeah, make it edibles.
Take an edible.
Yeah.
I can't smell it, can't see it. Eat it.
Yeah, I mean, that's doable.
That's fair, right?
Sure.
I think,
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Because if you're drinking, you got to be eating, right? That's a fair enough comparison. It's not like you're smoking alcohol. You're drinking alcohol, and so you can't smoke weed.
So you're ingesting.
You have to ingest it.
You're ingesting.
Correct.
Okay. Glad we got there.
Correct.
It was getting weird.
Right.
So it is interesting. But this is what I told my friend Dave, and this is what I'll say too. I believe it's a statistic. If it's put on the ballot as a yes/no, most people, when they go right down the board and check yes. They don't even read.
I would say it'll pass even if people read, because I think there's enough population here. Although maybe Florida's weird.
No, I think statistically, most people when they go to the polls, if they see an amendment or whatever, they just go yes.
Really?
Yes. I think it's a statistic. I think it's there.
All right, we'll look it up for the next episode. But
okay,
I think people actually read those.
I don't think they do.
No,
it takes too much time.
I mean, you're there. You're in the booth. You're reading names.
I do a mail-in ballot so I can.
You mail it in and you vote?
No, I don't mail it in. I go and I drop it off.
Okay.
I put it in a little drop box because I never make the mail-in date.
You mail one and then you drop the other one off and then you go to the booth? Is that how it goes?
No, Dave, that's voter fraud. I don't do that.
I see.
God, you are a shady Russian Chicago.
Not that it matters here. I think Florida's for Trump anyway. Majority of Florida is for Trump, other than maybe.
Again, it goes back to the big, dense, populated areas. Most metropolitan cities are liberal.
Correct. All the cities are blue, and then the country is red.
Everything's around it is red.
Although I think this election it's turned.
I don't know.
It's turned. I'm pretty sure after this Rogan episode comes out tomorrow or tonight or whatever.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. All right, back to real estate. So,
All right. So we discussed Airbnbs. I don't have any experience with that, but people make money with it. It is all location, location, location. It's how you set up your stuff. Again, it's also buying correctly, because you got to buy the property right. Because if you buy at the top of the crest,
how do you know it's the top of the crest? Like, that it's like, what do you have, intuition, or can you read the market, or like?
No, it's hard to know when we're at the top of the crest, except when you go into a neighborhood and you're like, that's a $150,000 house. And they're asking $400 for it? No fucking way.
Dude, that's how I think about all markets. Because, like, we bought our place and it was like $630. This place does not cost $630. And, I sold my place in Chicago for like, high twos. And I'm like, there's no way that fucking place is high twos.
Now, you moved here 2022?
2021.
2021. Okay. So 2021, we're a year and a half into COVID, or at least a year into COVID.
Yeah, it was right in the middle of COVID.
Interest rates are so here's the problem.
Low interest rates.
The banks are going to get their fucking money however it is. So low interest rate, 3%, 2.5%, 3.2%, whatever. That interest rate goes down, that fucking sales price goes up. That's what happens.
Yeah, so the market essentially becomes a buyer's market. Or seller's market. It becomes seller's market.
It becomes a seller's market.
Correct.
And then when that starts to turn and shift and those interest rates start going up, that price goes down because buyers can only afford what they can afford,
Right.
But the lender still makes their fucking money because they're still going to make their points and they're going to still make their percentages.
Right. They either make it on the price side or they make it on the interest side. Right. I mean, they almost always make it on the interest side anyway. Because as we talked about in that last episode that didn't record, the first, I think, 15 to 20 years of you paying down your mortgage, it's all interest. The majority is interest.
It's all interest. And then we did touch on this.
Because, again, my other problem with this whole thing was based on how Jen and I live, we don't stay in any single place long enough to capitalize on the rise of the market. Because
but you do because you got to remember is Illinois a homestead state?
No.
Okay, so Florida is a homestead state. So as long as you're in your primary residence for 2 years out of a 5-year period,
you don't have to pay down the tax liability.
You don't pay capital gains.
Yes.
You don't pay capital gains when you sell your property as a couple up to $500,000. That's huge.
$500,000 not in sales price, but of profit.
Of profit.
Yeah.
Correct. Of profit. So that's a huge thing. And then also in Florida, we have brought over because we are a homestead state, right? So if you claim your primary residence, and that's your primary residence for you, your tax liability can only go up 3% per year. Whereas if you buy it as a rental property, your taxes can go up any percentage depending upon the market value and what the property appraiser thinks.
Even in a homestead state?
No. Even in a homestead state. Not your primary residence, just your second property or your rental property.
Homestead only applies to one property that you live in.
One property, your primary residence. So, that gets capped. And then this is what's even great. This is what's even
better,
more gooder. You bought this property from a person that had it as a primary residence. They had homestead. You come in, you purchase the property, and you're going to claim homestead. Homestead never loses, and that tax cap stays. You never get a jump.
I got a jump. No, did I do something wrong? Maybe because I'm paying homestead based. I had to file homestead based on the sales value, not their value.
Okay, so was the house occupied when you bought it?
Yes.
Was it homesteaded?
Yes.
Okay, you are going to have a little bit of an adjustment, but it's not going to be huge.
I mean, it was something.
I'd have to look at your property record.
Okay.
But if this was a rental property, and you bought it and it never had homestead, it takes almost a full year plus for your homestead cap to kick in. So the county appraiser, property appraiser, gets one more year to reassess the property. He's going to look at your sales price, look at the market value, and your tax liability is going to go up significantly, a lot. But if you buy the property and it's the person's primary residence, and they have homestead, and you're coming in and you have homestead because you're claiming it's your primary residence, that jump is going to happen. It's just not going to be very significant. It's going to be a smaller amount.
So what you're saying is if they bought the property, let's say 10 years ago, and they paid $150,000 for this house.
Yep.
And in the span of them living here, it went up significantly, and I bought it at, let's say, $600,000. And I file homestead. Is my homestead going to be my tax liability going to be slightly higher than the original 150? Because, or, 150 plus the difference over a 10-year period of the 3% raise? Or are they homesteading it at the purchase price of $600?
The county appraiser is going to they're going to do a algorithm of between the two because it is such a bigger difference.
Okay, because it got appraised, and obviously it wasn't the full 600, but it was somewhere up there.
Appraised for your lender or from the county?
From the county, I think I gotta look it up. I mean, I'll show you the documents. Because
the county does get notified when a sale is going to happen,
right?
And they come out and they assess the property and they take a peek at it.
Correct.
Now, this property was purchased 10 years ago, $150,000. You bought it for $600,000. Yes, there's going to be a little bit. There's going to be a jump.
I think that's actually what happened because I think they bought it at like 150. Yeah. They made like good cash on this thing.
That you're guessing because you don't know if they refinanced the property. You have no idea what their mortgage debt was.
Yeah, I don't actually know.
Right. This could have been a piggy bank for them, and they could have refinanced, took money out, refinanced, took money out.
That's also possible.
That happened.
Well, either way, they collected the money.
Sure.
In the interim.
This is what's crazy. So when you refinance your property, let's use your prior owners, right? They bought the property for $150,000, and over the years, maybe they didn't refinance, and then a couple years before they decide to sell the home, they're like, you know what? We're going to refinance it. They get an appraisal. They bought it for $150,000. They get an appraisal, and somebody says the property's worth $500,000. So they got $350,000 worth of equity in the property, and they're like, we're going to refinance it. The lender will let them take, I don't know, up to 75% of the value of it. All that money that they put there, you got a calculator, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I say the value was? 500?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's 75% of 500?
375.
375. Okay, so 375 minus 150.
225. You need a calculator for that?
I'm not doing math. You got a calculator right in your fingers. All right, so what did you say, 225?
225.
So they just cashed out $225,000 of equity out of their home in their pocket, refinanced their mortgage. Is that taxable?
Not if you put it into your IRA, right?
No, it's not taxable at all.
Oh, because of the...
you refinanced your house.
So hold on. When you refinance your house, you don't pay taxes on any of the... Because it's not a profit?
That's not income.
It's not income? Why is it not income? Because you're taking the equity out of the house. You're
taking the equity out of the house.
I see. But okay, so then when you...
So let's say interest rates were good. You got a 3.5% interest rate when you refinance that. You took that $225,000. You went and bought a property.
Yeah, okay.
Rehabbed it, resold it, rehabbed it, put a tenant in there, took that $225,000, became a mortgage lender, a hard money lender. You collected 5 points up front. You charged 15% interest.
So you're using that cash basically tax-free in order to make more money with it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you end up with a whole bunch of properties, assuming you go down this route, or you make a bunch of money on the lending and the private cash, and you hope no black swans happen. So you don't lose all the short sale shit, or you don't get stuck with all the shit you can't do anything with.
Correct. Or you could put it in the stock market, and hopefully you don't get a black swan there, and the market goes...
Which has happened as well.
Which happens more times than real estate.
Yeah, so the problem, not the problem.
Shot glass.
Yeah, but the benefit of the stock market investing long term is you don't actually lose any money until you sell. And so if the market goes down, you haven't actually sold anything.
And and
that's the same thing. I guess it's the same thing here.
Any seasoned real estate investor will tell you this also. You make money on the buy, you lose money on the sell. Because it costs money to sell that property.
Right, closing costs and the realtor fees and all. We got to get into the realtor situation too, because we talked about that too. Because they changed the laws, and so now traditionally the seller pays the cost of both the buyer's agent and the seller's agent.
Yes.
And now I think this year they changed something where the buyer's agent now negotiates with the buyer, and the seller's agent only is the one getting paid by the seller.
It is
ish,
because now it's turned into a true negotiating point. So,
which again, I didn't even know you could negotiate these things, because I always thought it was normal that it's a 5 or 6% fee for the agents, because half goes to the buyer's agent, and half goes to the seller's agent.
Yep.
And that was always presented as a default amount that wasn't even negotiable, which again is probably what led to this whole fucking thing.
It is what led to this whole thing. So, because that gets into price fixing and monopoly, antitrust, all that stuff, and that's what happened, and that's the lawsuit that took place. And unfortunate, there's a lot of real estate agents out there where every year is their first year. Like they just don't get it. Like every transaction is their first transaction. It's tough. They struggle, and it makes the ones that are professionals, it makes their job that much harder.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit down in front of you and Jen. You want to sell your home. We're talking, and I'm like, hey, I charge 6% for the listing, this, that, and the other. And you make a comment of, well, yeah, that's the standard. My answer to that is, no, that's what I charge. That's the fee that I ask for my expertise, my knowledge, my guidance in selling your property.
Yeah, time to do all this. Yep.
That's my answer.
Okay. But then you go to like 5 other agents and everybody says 6%. And so it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
I understand. I understand what they may say or may not say. My answer is, this is what I ask for my fee. I don't know what anybody else asks for. This is me. Now, how you interpret that, that's on you.
But it's not even the interpretation. It's kind
Here,
of...
wait, hold on. Shh. Have your glass. There you go, buddy.
All right.
Here, cheers. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, man, that's good.
Yeah, so I was saying that it's a market-driven number, because if everybody in the market charges 6%, what are my choices here? Even though it's not price fixing, nobody's willing to negotiate, and there's like 50 agents in the area, and everybody I talk to says 6%. And so it's like, fuck.
It's... If everyone that you talk to is saying 6% or 5% or whatever, it's not that they're all saying it. It's how they need to say it. And that's what the problem was. And that's why there was a class action lawsuit. And that's why a couple of the brokerage firms and the National Association of Realtors, that's why they paid out. Mm-hmm. Because agents weren't being strong enough to go, I don't know what agent X charges from broker Y, but from my experience and my knowledge and my time and how I'm going to represent you as the seller and as my client, I charge this.
Yeah.
And with this, you get all of these services.
Yeah.
It's that little bit of language that had to change. So now what happens now? What happens now, so you and Jen come up to me and you're like, hey, I want to buy a house. I go, okay. So look. Here's a buyer's broker agreement. And what this buyer broker agreement means is I'm gonna represent you in the transaction. I can represent you as a single agent. I can represent you as a transaction broker. I can, all of it is I'm going to be fair and honest with you, and I am, not going to not hold anything away from you. If I know something, I'm going to tell you anything.
Like disclosure,
I'm going to disclose.
If there's a foundation problem or a special assessment in this property,
if I fucking know it, I got to tell you, and I'm going to tell.
But I think that's the case anyway. No?
It depends on the agency relationship that you have with somebody.
But
that
by law, they're required to
dude,
disclose.
that's a whole agency relationship. That could be a 4-hour podcast. Like, that's a whole nother thing to go down. Okay, so now, Dave, Jen, I'm going to represent you. I ask 3%. This is what I want. You're looking at a $500,000 house, 3%. That's $15,000. You know, do you have the ability to pay me that $15,000? Well, yes, but you know, it'd be great if we could wrap that into the sales price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Let's see if we can make that happen. I don't have a guarantee, but we'll at least try. But are you able to do that? Yes, we are, but let's try. Okay, great. We find a house, we find a property. Cool. We write our offer. In that offer, I'm going to send over to the listing agent and to the seller, hey, we're offering X, and we're asking the seller to pay 3% of a commission.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
So the seller and the listing agent, they talk and they go, you know what? We'll take this price, but we're only going to pay 1.5 points. Or we're only going to pay 1 point. Okay, so now it comes back. Boom. Now we're going back and forth. Okay, Dave, Jen, they'll cover 1%.
Now you got to cover 2. Yeah.
Do you want to cover 2, or do you want to go back and renegotiate? Okay, well, you know, let's go back. Let's up our offer by $10,000, $5,000, $3,000, whatever, and see if they'll pay 2%.
You work the numbers and see where it makes sense.
It's the same thing, let me rephrase that. It's very similar to where I've got an FHA buyer or a VA buyer, and I'm trying to get the seller to pay all the closing costs for that buyer, because that buyer doesn't have a lot of money to put down.
Right.
So it's a negotiation thing.
Yeah. So you just cook it into the selling price.
It's
essentially what happened to me, because like we have these solar panels on the roof, and I don't fucking want solar panels. Like that's a liability to me. I'm not, you know. Because I looked at the lease, because they literally just put up those solar panels right before they decided to sell this thing.
Yeah.
So it's a brand new lease agreement. It's not like they bought those fucking things.
Right.
It's a 25-year lease, and the cost of the panels is like $40,000
Yeah.
over the next 25 years.
Right.
And so I'm like, take them off. I don't fucking want them. And you know, and they're like, well, you know, we can't really do that. And I'm like, well, I don't want the panels. I'm like, why don't you discount me $30,000 from the cost of the price? And they're like, how about we cancel your offer and we up the price by $30,000 and put it back in the market, because it seems like a good market right now, and you guys are moving from Chicago during COVID. Good luck.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Fuckers.
Can you pay for like the first 2 years? Give me like 5. And they're like, done. And we're like, okay, fine.
There you go.
So essentially it's a negotiation like that.
Yep,
Okay.
it is. It's the same thing. Which again goes back to real estate agents doing their job, being proficient at their job, being professionals at their job, and earning their services. And our service really is getting you to close, getting you to successfully purchase or sell that home. Any person can get a purchase agreement, a contract of sale signed. The magic is making it actually really happen between two parties that may like each other or may hate each other.
Is it hard to do?
Some transactions are super easy. Some are super hard. It just depends.
What makes it hard?
It can be anything. The buyers could walk in. The sellers could be in the home or walking out of the home, and maybe somebody makes a snide remark about the color of the carpet.
It's fucking ugly.
It's fucking ugly. Oh my God, who fucking picked those cabinets?
Rat
Jesus,
cabinets.
Who fucking wrapped the refrigerator? That's stupid. I can't put my magnets on the side of the refrigerator. And all of a sudden, somebody gets butthurt, and what is it? Ego. I gotta win. Very good case in point. Right, when did the market start shifting? 2023, 2023, when interest rates like
shut
doubled.
up from like 3 to 6.
3 to 6, like overnight.
Like 20, I think end of 22, beginning of 23, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't do a lot of retail real estate anymore. If I do a listing or help somebody buy a house, it's a family friend, I want to make sure they're doing the right thing. But as a general, like, I don't market myself for that. I don't like that stuff. So I've got a close friend, and he wanted to set the mark in his neighborhood. Nobody had ever sold for like $350 a square foot. He's like, we're going to do it. And I'm like, ooh,
Good
dude.
luck.
I'm like, dude, the only people who have come close to that number, they're on the water in your neighborhood. You're not on the water. Like, I don't know. He's like, let's just try it. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just try it. Sure shit. We got some guy, some buyer. He was doing a 301 exchange, which is you're taking a non-residential primary residence, you sold it, and you're moving it into another. It's tax deferring the money. You've got a certain amount of time to
do it before
to find the property, and then you got a certain amount of time to
before
close.
it's considered income.
Yeah. So this guy's like, I'll take it. Boom. And as we're under contract, going to close in escrow, whatever you want to call it, the buyer has his inspection, and he's found some stuff, and he wants the seller to take care of it. And this guy's like, dude, I'm not fixing it, Andy. Fuck that. And I'm like, bud, do you understand interest rates right now? They've gone from 3 to 6%. He's like, yeah. So I go, you're never gonna get $350 a square foot again.
Up until it's back to 3.
I go, we lose this guy.
You're gonna hold on to this house for like the next 3 years.
I'm like, dude, you're fucked. Like, you ain't getting it. And we had to go round and round. I had to send him articles. I had to have a mortgage broker call him.
Like convince him that that's
like,
a good
dude,
deal.
like, this is it. This is the guy. Like, we got to get this.
Was it a big repair?
No, but it was like it was a tedious repair. So sometimes when you do some remodeling of your plumbing, change out valves, things like that, you can get a knocking in your pipes. And what a knocking is, you turn the water on. It's not even that. It's more like, it's literally like, because it's just water pressure. And, there's these little valves. I forget what they're called, but you can put them on different things. So we're kind of chasing this noise. And the guy was like, look, man, I don't want this knocking.
Yeah, it's legit.
It's
Seems
legit, but it's kind of like, but whatever. And then it turned into, his just like a little minor stuff.
Petty. Like, it became petty.
It's like some things started to become petty, and the seller is just crossing his arms, just digging his heels in. And it's like, we had to have to come to Jesus. I'm like, dude, this is our guy. Like, if you lose this guy, we're not getting another buyer at the dollar mark. Like, you're going to lose $100,000.
Yeah. You can be right, but you won't have the money. It's like, do you want the money or do you want to be right?
No, you can win. You can win and go, I'm not fixing this.
But you won't have the sale.
You won't have the sale.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's, agents, that's where we, have
That's actually hard. That's a hard job. There's plenty of homeless proud guys. And your job is to talk them out of being that.
Yeah. Yep, it is. So yeah, that was that. All right. So what other real estate investment stuff would you like to chat about?
So I think the other thing we talked actually pretty lengthy about was the owner financed situation.
Yeah,
because
that's again being the bank.
Yeah, because you've done a ton of those, and it seems like an interesting kind of a financial restitution. You go to the owner and you basically tell them, I'm gonna buy down your mortgage. Was that it? Like, am I remembering it correctly? That was something else.
No,
that's a different mechanism.
That was kind of like that was earlier from today talking. Well, kind of like like an adjustable rate mortgage.
Yeah.
Like a 3-year arm, 5-year arm.
Oh no. We're talking about if you're selling. You can do a rent to own, you can do or you can do the buyer finance.
Yeah, you can do an owner financing.
Owner
thing.
financing,
yep,
yeah.
which is huge. Again, you're being the bank, and you're offering. So let's kind of keep it simple. You own a property, but you don't want to be the landlord. So you can offer that property out as an owner finance deal. You are literally going to put the deed into that person's name, and you're going to hold the note as the lender. You're not going to give them a primo interest rate. You're not going to give them we'll use 7% right now because that's what the interest rate. You're not going to give them 7%. You're going to give them 10%. You're going to give them 11% because you want to incentivize them to refinance you out. But at the beginning, maybe they got some jacked up credit. Maybe they are self-employed.
And they can't show that they have a paycheck or something.
Right, but they can show you their bank statements and go, look, dude,
I got money.
I'm making money, but
Right.
on my tax return, I'm making X. I
Right.
need some time to kind of even this out so I can refinance this with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you know, whoever.
In like a year, once I get the W-2 going.
Right. So, and this is how we talked about like those first 15 years of a mortgage, because you're going to give them a 30-year amortization, but all those payments of that first year, second year, third year,
You're retaining
it's
all the
interest. It's all interest. And then when they refinance you out, they're refinancing you out at your sales price or their mortgage value, you know, whatever it is.
So they're technically not paying down your mortgage price. What they're doing is actually they're just giving you money.
They're just giving you interest.
I see.
Interest only.
I see.
And again, with you specifically in mind, because you're right in front of me and we're talking about this, the lender aspect, if I want to entice you into investing in real estate, you're going to be the bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Put up the cash
and
let everybody else do the work.
You're gonna look at the numbers. Fuck, I'll coach you to look at the numbers and go, hey, this is this, this is that, and you're gonna make your own decision on those numbers. You're gonna look at the property. You're gonna look at that rehab guy and go, show me some experience you've done.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be my first deal, but it's a smoking deal. Okay, cool. This is your first deal. I'm not going to charge you 2 points. I'm going to charge you 5 points, and I'm going to charge you 15% because it's your first deal. After this first deal,
We start.
maybe I go down to 4 points and I go to 12% interest. Like, you work with the guy.
Because you also want to make sure that they make some money too. Because if there's no incentive for them, like what the fuck's the point for them to get involved?
Right. The investor always has to have the most meat on the bone because he's doing the work.
Correct. But there has to be some left for the other guys, obviously. Because
the lender's always going to make their interest. The lender's always.
Why would people work for free? That's all I'm trying to say. It's like you got to make sure that they have enough money on their side.
The guy swinging the hammer, the guy who found the property swinging the hammer, he's doing the rehab. He's got to have enough.
He's managing the project.
Yeah, he's got to have that meat on that bone.
Yeah,
you know, he's got to eat,
and it's negotiable. Obviously,
it's all negotiable.
Yeah.
Because the hard money lender that I found, he was great, but when he was a hard money lender in 4, 5, and 6, he became a real bank and took back a bunch of foreclosures, and he didn't want to do that again. So,
what did he do with those? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't ask him because that was when I met him. You know, that was 2008, 9 that he took all those back. I met him in 2014, so enough time had passed.
Okay.
You know,
so you got rid of him or something? You know?
No, I didn't get rid of him. He changed his terms because that's what hard money lenders can do because they're not a bank. They don't have things that they have.
Don't they have a contract?
Fuck, no, they don't. So, you know, he was doing 100% financing for me because I used my cash to rehab the property. So I just had to make sure I was buying the property at where he felt he had instant equity.
Yeah, it's all kind of a handshake deal, to be honest, right?
No, I had to show him the numbers.
Okay.
And he looked at them, and his lawyer looked at them.
All I'm just saying is there's like a lot of trust there because you as the guy managing the project, doing the buying, doing the rehabbing, when you take his money, you actually don't take his money. You put his money into a property, and then the deed is in his name.
No, the deed's in my name. He's got the mortgage.
The mortgage is in his name,
yes,
right?
Correct.
But the deed is in your name.
Yeah. I mean, technically, the mortgage is in my name. He's the lender. He has mortgaged the property. He has a lien on that property.
Okay. So if like shit goes sideways, he goes to foreclosure.
He's taking the property.
Is he going to foreclosure in order to take the property?
He would threaten me with foreclosure, and I'm going to go, dude, I don't want a foreclosure on my record.
Okay.
So here's the deed.
Okay, so you reassign the deed to. So like essentially,
deed in lieu and foreclosure.
The way you keep things honest is with fear of potential financial, issues to you from him.
Correct.
And you don't want to deal with those, and so you almost voluntarily be like, "I fuck it, take the property."
Right.
Okay, and then that's kind of how to keep things honest.
Correct.
So and then, the way to keep things honest for him is you use his money to buy the property, but it's in your name. So in case he says, "Fuck you, Andy, I'm keeping the property," you're like, "No, it's in my name."
Correct.
It's still, okay,
right.
Clear.
And I don't think any I don't think any investor goes into a property going, "Hey, I'm just going to take this guy's money and run."
Because you want a long-term deal. You
Right.
obviously want a continuous relationship.
I want better rates.
Correct.
You
don't make money on the first deal. You make money over a long period of time in the relationship.
And it got to a point where, I used him so much and I cashed him out so quickly. Like I think we talked about it this time or last time. My goal was 4 months. I had hit my 4-month goal so many times with him as the lender. It literally got to the point of, and I can say his name because nobody will know. I'll be like, "Hey, Rich, I found this property. Here's the address. This is the purchase price. Are we good to go?" Mm-hmm. That's all I would send him. Mm-hmm. He would literally pull the address, look at the dollar amount,
good enough.
And he would, "Yep, good. Go see whatever the fuck the attorney's name was. I don't remember. Go see him. He'll write it up." Okay, great, thanks. And that was it. But then as 2016, 2017 started coming, things were getting out of control again. Pre-COVID. Yeah, 2016, 2017. The market was getting out of control, and he was like, "Hey, Andy, look, I'm not doing 100% financing anymore. You got to put 20% down." And I'm like, "Dude, but I'm coming in at these values." He goes, I'm not taking the risk of 2008. I don't like this. And by the way, you're not buying any more residential stuff. If you want to use my money, you got to buy commercial." And I'm like,
why? Because there's more money on the table?
I don't know. I'm not a commercial guy. I couldn't tell you, but he felt safer in commercial property.
I see.
So then I was like, fuck, that sucks. There goes him.
And so that was over.
And that was over.
Okay.
So I had to change and morph into something different.
Okay.
But again, it's still all real estate.
Got it.
You would like being the lender.
Okay.
You want to play the real estate game. You want to be the lender. You don't want to be the dickhead swinging the hammer. You want to look at the property, make your analysis, and feel secure enough going, "Yep, I'll lend you $100,000 because the market's showing that property's worth $175 the way that shitbox sits right now. So I've got some instant equity. Even if I had to dump it, I could dump it at 160, make my break even, make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And get out of it in a blink."
Right. Not get stuck with the property I can't do anything with. Right.
Because if one investor thought that property was a good deal at 150, there's 20 that thought it was a good deal at 150. Mm-hmm. There's another ass for that seat.
Right. So, okay. So how...
And maybe that investor maybe he just didn't have the vision to do it, or maybe, he called that GC and he was like, "Hey man, I found this property at 150. What do you think it would take?" It was like, and the GC goes, "Yeah, dude, I could do it for $35,000. Mm-hmm. And the guy goes, "Okay, well, I'm going to buy it." And then he buys it and he calls the general contractor and he goes, "Okay, well, I'm going to go look at it now." "Well, dude, you fucking told me you could rehab it for $35,000. Yeah. What the fuck, bro? I just bought this." And then the GC walks in there and goes, "Oh no,
oh, shit, no way. I need 50.
I need 75, whatever." And you're like, "Motherfucker, you told me 35. What are you doing?"
Uh-huh.
Now, who takes blame for that?
Whoever puts up the money.
No, it's the guy that, he only called his one uncle, cousin's friend, twice removed, divorce, whatever, general contractor, and he didn't call anybody else to see how much it would really take to rehab that property.
I don't think it matters who takes the blame. It matters who gets fucked. Does anybody get fucked in that equation? Usually the people put up the money, right?
If the investor's a good guy and's got a spine, he calls a hard money lender and he goes, "Hey, I got a problem." Mm-hmm. So one of the things that happened with me with my hard money lender, I got popped on a permit down in St. Pete in a flood zone, FEMA guidelines, whole 9 yards. I got screwed. I got a cease and desist order from the city of St. Pete.
You bought a property and you couldn't do shit with it?
No, dude, we were at the final punch out. And my chuckleheads did not remove the stickers off the windows that we replaced. So they had brand new stickers on them. Code enforcement drove by, stopped, and went, "What are you guys doing?" And they were all like, nothing. And they're like,
"Don't you need a permit for this?"
Yes, Dave, that's my point.
I see. That's where, okay.
So the city went, "You did all this work unpermitted. You went way over the FEMA guidelines, which is 50% of the structure value. Stop." And I got stuck. So I had to call up Rich, the hard money lender, and I'm like, "Dude, I need your help. I need help." And he's like, "Okay, cool." You know why he was cool? Because he saw how much fucking money I put in that property, what his mortgage was. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good.
We're okay, yeah.
We're okay."
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It's like you got to think about all these things ahead of time. We had a situation like that in our warehouse because when we bought the building for our company in Chicago, we needed, it was like an empty warehouse, and we needed basically racks in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we installed these racks. I call up the guys. Like within a day, I got like, I don't know, 10 Mexicans working there, and they're putting the racks up, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And they're just like done in one day,
Yeah.
And it looks fucking great, and it's usable. And then like, there's a knock on the door, and it's the fire inspector. He's like, "Hey, you got a permit for that?" I was like, "Do I need one?" And so it literally took me a year to get the permit, and I couldn't use the top half of the rack space because based on the type of product we were putting on those shelves,
Yep.
which was paper packaging,
Yep.
and the sprinkler system we had in the warehouse, I couldn't go up a certain height because the sprinkler system did not support the foundation of the type of rack we made.
Yeah.
And so we had to replace the entire sprinkler system, which cost us about $75,000, in order to be able to bring that fire chief a year later, do the inspection. And in the meantime, I had to get the specs for the shelving, create a annual testing plan, and it was like a whole thing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, to kind of talk about
Yep.
the permitting situation of the city, which is, again, another fucking bureaucracy, because
Yep.
it's like, in Florida, I imagine, is less of a bureaucracy than Illinois or California, I think the redder the state, the less of a bureaucracy you have.
No.
But still, you have a municipal or federal or state entity that essentially wants to fucking control everything, or get paid is a better answer. And so they start putting up these, walls and banners for you to kind of...
It's not about the county getting paid with their fees or anything like that. They just want to make sure that it's built correctly. That's all. That's what it comes down to.
But was it a problem with what you built?
It wasn't a problem with what I built. It became a problem because the property was in a flood zone. So
you needed a certain type of window in order to sustain it?
No. Stop jumping the gun, Blue Belt.
Come on, bro. Fucking get to the meat.
I'm trying. You got to let me talk. So when you're in a flood zone, you have to follow the FEMA guidelines. And FEMA guidelines are you can only improve the property 50% of the structure value in a 12-month period. Structure value, not the total value.
Yeah, the structure value is
the structure.
That's a number you put on your insurance claim, and that's what you get 5% as a deductible.
Yes, except you don't put that number on. The county puts that number on. So this little cream puff of a house that I purchased to rehab, the structure value was only...
like $30K.
Yeah, it was fucking something ridiculous. $30K, $50K, something. And it's like, look.
And and all that rehab cost you like another $50, and so you're like, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, it was more than that. Dude, it was a new roof, windows, kitchen, flooring, both bathrooms. Like, it's a lot. Like, we were 75, 80K into the house.
Oh, so you want like double or triple the value, the structure value of the house, which was a no-no.
Which is the no-no. You can't do that.
So what you have to do, like remove all the shit and go back to like basic?
No.
Or up the structure value of the house now, reevaluate the structure.
It probably came to that. That was when I was over my head. I called the hard money lender. He's been here forever. He knows a lot of people, a lot of lawyers, a lot of people at the city. And he called the right lawyer, had the right conversations, and he got shit waived. But it cost. It cost. So, but yeah, no, those, just because we're in Florida doesn't mean that it's any easier to get permits done, to get inspections done, anything like that. It's the same hardship in Chicago as it is with Florida to make stuff happen. It is.
You just got to know the code, and you have to understand.
You have to understand
the guidelines, and essentially be honest about or not get caught is a better answer. For the sake of the podcast not getting canceled, let's call it follow the guidelines and being honest about it.
You have to follow the guidelines and yeah. Because it does get a little...
It's all gray area, to be honest.
It gets a little crazy with what... Because depending upon if you live in unincorporated Pinellas County, you have to follow Pinellas County guidelines. Or if you live in the city of Seminole, St. Pete, Largo, now you deal with the city. Everybody's got different guidelines on what they require for a permit.
Why?
So,
Why are they different to begin with? That's the other fucking problem with this whole thing. It's like none of the shit
Why is it different?
it's kind of like each cell phone has a different charger. It's like each fucking county has
Right,
its own
it's
problem.
stupid,
I know.
right.
Like, isn't there a standard by which electricians have a standard?
Okay, so where it comes down into like silly, I'm going to use Dunedin. I'm going to use the city of Dunedin. I have rehabbed 2 properties in the city of Dunedin. I will never rehab another property in the city of Dunedin again. They are a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
They want a permit pulled just to do demo. They want to come in the property before you swing any hammers, remove any cabinets, or remove any flooring because they want to see what it looks like right now. Okay, so you're just going to change the kitchen cabinets. Here's your permit for that. So you remove the kitchen cabinets. Maybe you want to do the floor at the same time or this, that, or the other. Nope.
Why?
Because they want a permit for that.
Oh, it's like extra money?
It's not. It's the permit fees are nominal. They're not a lot of money. They just want to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Because if you remove the floor, right, and you're on concrete slab, you need to make sure that that concrete doesn't have any moisture in it. And if the concrete has moisture in it, you better put a vapor barrier down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing.
Underlayment and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure that you do the shit right and you don't cut your corners.
Actually, it's good for them because, if you're moving into that area as a buyer, you want to make sure shit's like legit.
Correct. You want to make sure it's done. And again, that's where it came to. I always took it personal when people would go, "Oh, you're a flipper." No, dude, I don't flip properties. I fucking buy them, I remodel them, I resell them because I did my stuff right. I spent the extra dollars
So fucking flipper
to make it happen.
Uber flipper. I think the flipping is a definition for buying, rehabbing, and selling, regardless of the quality. Regarding the quality of the rehabbing.
Flipping has a negative attribute to it when you're like, oh, that's a flip house.
There's an assumption that the quality isn't residential rehab level. It's like me doing as an owner living there is not the same as a flipper doing it and selling the property on.
Correct, because the owner's going to spend more money and make it nicer.
Correct.
A flipper is going to do it as fast as he can, as quick as he can to make the most
cheapest
money.
Material. You're right.
He's going below builder grade.
Profit driven or comfort driven.
Right. And I did it as I'm going to live there. This is my name on it. I'm putting out a good product.
Well, that's a good brand, actually. Maybe you should have done
flipped
by Andy, and then that's like the brand. So as soon as people start seeing flipped by Andy stamp on these properties, that's a mark of like craftsmanship.
Actually, it got to a point where agents would specifically ask Dave and I, when you have a new property and you rehab it, please call us first.
That's great. That's exactly.
That was great, and that's what we wanted, and that's what happened. And then what happened is your crew that works for you regularly starts looking around, going, "You're making all this, and we're only making that.
We're only making $15 an hour."
And
right?
we're like, "You guys aren't seeing the big picture. You don't understand what this material costs and what you cost and what that investor wants back." Like, they
don't give a shit about your P&L.
They don't give a shit.
Right.
They're like, "I want $30 an hour." Well, fuck, bro, you're not worth. You paint like $10 an hour.
How competitive is that market here? Because
what
after moving,
competitive of what market?
Well, I think all service markets. I think there's a huge problem in Florida, based on where we come from and based on the type of service level I'm seeing on all fronts. I think there's a huge opportunity here to up the service level and collect the money, because no matter who you call, HVAC guy, or a roofer, or anybody like handyman. People never fucking come on time. The quality is always subpar.
Yep.
And there's always issues. So I think there's a big opportunity.
There is a big opportunity for that service aspect,
right,
for people. It just gets tricky because it's that tipping point of what a customer is willing to pay to get that service, to get that public's experience.
Market driven, essentially?
No, it's not market driven. Again, stick with me. Don't jump ahead. They want that public's experience. How's your experience when you go to shopping at Publix? You can ask any person in a green apron or green shirt, hey, you know what? I can't find pickled okra. They will fucking walk you over to that aisle and help you find it and then go, it's my pleasure. Thank you. And
really?
Walk away.
It's weird. I don't shop at Publix.
I know. You're
often enough.
Fucking snob. You shop at Whole Foods?
Oh, yeah, it's,
wish I had
Trader Joe's.
Wish I had your wallet. Whole Food wallet. I don't have a Whole Food wallet.
That's actually pretty cheap these days.
No, it's not.
It's Amazon.
No. All right. So anyhow, there's that tipping point of they want that experience, they want that service, and sometimes they have a hard time understanding.
It comes with
a cost.
For sure.
Right.
I'd rather pay more and get like my shit done right than
I know, but
sit 8 to 5 p.m. until some guy shows up that's like doing the job halfway.
In our area, and it is changing. In our area, we had a lot of people that were on fixed incomes, retirees, or even
VA retirees.
VA, right? Even if they're affluent retirees, they're still on a fixed income. Like they only get X amount of money, period. And this is what's horrible about our current economy right now because inflation's out of control. Shit's just expensive, and it's stupid.
Yeah, food costs, everything.
We went to dinner today.
Insurance costs. When we talked about insurance, last time too. That's a whole lot.
We're not even talking about insurance because that's just fuck them. We'll get Chris Weaver, and actually Chris will agree with everything that we bitch about, except he's the insurance guy.
He's the insurance guy. Yeah, that's why he's in business because he agrees with all of it.
We went to dinner tonight. I had a hamburger and 2 beers.
Mm-hmm.
What was my bill?
Probably $22.
It was $24.
Yeah.
A fucking burger
Yeah.
and 2 Miller Lite drafts.
Yeah.
Not even a bottle.
Yeah.
$24.
Probably because their rent went up, their insurance went up.
So our last cycle of voting, right? What was on the ballot?
I don't know.
You weren't here.
I don't know. We weren't here.
You weren't here. So it was to raise the minimum wage, and it was to raise it to $15 an hour from wherever it was, $7, $8,
11 maybe,
something. I don't know, 10, and it was supposed to be over a 5-year period. And what happened when that passed? Everybody stuck their finger in the air and went, "Fuck you! I want $15 right now." And then that jumped to $18, and then it jumped to $22. You can't get anybody to do anything for less than $20 an hour right now.
Really, even at a basic service level, because Dennis is looking for a job, and he's like, all the shit's like minimum wage, $13. He worked at Foot Locker. I think they paid him $13. He worked at Papa John's. I think they paid him $13.
Yeah.
And he's looking around, and there's like nothing beyond minimum wage shit.
I mean, right. And that Papa John's place or Foot Locker or
corporate,
whatever, that used to be $8 an hour, $9 an hour, whatever, and it jumped.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, for the business owner, absolutely. And you got like 10 people working in your kitchen. They're all fucking making like double the money almost.
Yeah. And if you don't pay them, they walk. Perfect case in point. There was this great little bar restaurant that Shayna and I used to go to on, Indian Rocks, Indian Shores. Like the 18th hole or the 13th hole or some shit like that, or the 19th hole. Great food, great beers, everything. And when that spike happened and COVID started kicking in, but we were open for restaurants, this, that, and the other, dude, we would show up there, doors closed, nobody showed up for work.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. And that happened to multiple places.
They could operate, but nobody was there.
Nobody was there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I get it. The minimum wage situation is an issue. However, again, it's case in point because it's sort of like market driven. It's like, yes, the minimum wage officially is $15, but none of these fuckers are working for less than 18 or less than 20.
Right.
And so when you go to the real estate agent and you're like, what's the price? And they're like, well, it's negotiable, but it's 6%. And then everybody you ask is 6%. It's like, what are you gonna do as a seller? You have no choice but to pay the 6%, even with the whole antitrust. And it's legal because it's not like they're price fixing. That's the market.
Right.
Same shit here with the people, like, you were complaining that, like, nobody wants to cut grass for less than $25, and, like, these are fucking crackheads that have no driver license. What are you supposed to do with that?
Oh, and talk about the driver's license. Dude, you have no idea how many people. So, I also run a lawn and landscaping company. You have no idea how many grown adults would respond to my ad for work. And we're sitting there, we're chatting. I'm like, hey, all right, cool. You sound normal, nice.
Got to drive the truck.
Send me over a picture of your driver's license. I just, I got to, I'm going to do a background check. I don't have a driver's license. What do you mean you don't have a driver's license? I don't have a driver's license. Oh, did you get like a DUI or something? No, I just never learned to drive.
Seriously?
I don't want to drive. Dude, seriously.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
How did they get around?
I don't know. Dude, I couldn't wait until I could fucking drive at 16.
That's the first thing I got when I turned 16 was a driver license.
That's what you want. Like, I took driver's ed at 15, so when I turned 16 on my birthday, I could get my driver's ed. Like, that was, and all of my, we were all like, that's, you wanted to drive, because driving meant dates.
Yeah, clubbing, friends, people are moving with you.
You're
exactly
doing shit in the car. Like, that's, and now I'm telling you, people don't drive. And so I got a good friend of mine.
Maybe they come from a big city, because, if you live in a big city, you have like public transportation.
No, they fucking live here.
How is public transportation in Tampa Bay?
I don't know.
Just like the rest of America. It sucks.
No, because originally I'm from Boston. I've been up there to visit, multiple times.
That sucks too, I'm sure. Other than downtown, it's like fucking good luck getting around in public transportation.
I got around fine.
Again, in the city.
Yeah, in the city. Yeah. When you get to the suburbs, it's tough.
Correct.
Yeah. It's probably tough. The only place that I ever really had an enjoyable public transportation experience is when I lived in Japan for 2.5 years.
Yeah, I'm sure the shit was legit. It's like New York is very similar actually to that. Public transportation in Europe.
Probably not.
I don't know, Japan, like actually all Asia, fucking public transportation is phenomenal. Hong Kong, probably similar to Japan.
Hong Kong is on another level.
Yeah.
Don't spit the gum on the fucking floor. Oh no, that's Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
Hong Kong was crazy. We went to Hong Kong for a weekend.
Yeah.
On the ship, not just like me on the ship. That was, ooh.
Oh, you went to the harbor, the Victoria Harbor? Oh,
yeah. We were in Victoria Harbor. We had to take the little fucking...
Oh, the ferry with the little...
The sea taxis
that's cool.
In the port and all that stuff.
When was that? What year?
sometime between 1992 and 1996.
Oh, shit. This is like...
all that shit's a little blurry.
This was like...
I forgot. You know this. I already told you this, but you probably forgot because you're not Russian. I spent 7 days in, or not 7 days, 5 days in
Vladivostok.
Yeah, that was cool. We were there for our 4th of July.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
The Russian experience.
And it was. I think every night we were there, we were at a different family's house having dinner and drinking.
These are like people you met in the port?
We were literally, you would walk off the ship and there's just different families there and they just fucking grab you and just start talking to you.
Oh, no shit.
No shit. And we're just talking, chatting. I mean, we're all, like the average age in the military is like
20s,
20, I think. Mm-hmm. I went in at 17. So when I was in Japan and in Russia, I think I was maybe 19 or 20. And, they were just so friendly and they just wanted to talk to you. And it was just fucking, it was crazy. Like we never.
How did you communicate? Because nobody spoke English and you.
No. They all spoke enough broken English to figure it out. And then
hello, brother, come.
And they all just, dude. They wanted to feed you vodka. That's where we talked about this. You probably forgot. Green onions and vodka.
Yeah.
You shoot the vodka and then chew the scallion.
Chew the scallion. Yeah.
Chew the scallion and it goes away.
Usually you sniff the black bread.
You told me that.
Yeah.
You told me that one. Yeah. But that's it was such a good experience, and it was like a time warp, like fucking. So this was in the 90s.
Yeah, late 90s was a different place, different time and place in Russia.
I was there in the early 90s, bro.
Yeah. Oh shit! You just aged yourself.
I'm a little old. Yeah. That's okay. I'm embracing it now. The big one's coming.
Yeah, this year. We're gonna have it at your house.
I expect a gift, Dave. It's a big one.
We gotta go steal that mermaid, dude. We're not gonna say where.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know. The idea came from you.
No, it didn't. Actually, it did.
We're stealing the mermaid.
Shh, stop talking.
But we need like 3 more shots, and I think we're ready to go.
The mermaid would be cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's open anymore.
Oh, like that the place?
Yeah.
I don't think the mermaid's there. I think the whole thing got taken out. I imagine they cut that tree down.
I bet you that tree's still standing.
Yeah, well, we should go look.
I don't know. You want another one? What time is it? How much? Where are we at?
We're 2 hours in.
We're 2 hours in. Oh, dude, we got one more shot.
Yeah.
We're fucking Joe Rogan in it. Come on, we're doing it. We're doing it. All right. So, what else you want to talk about?
Why don't we talk about jiu-jitsu?
Okay.
Because I think that's a good segue.
Okay. I would.
Because we talked earlier, and
I always talk jiu-jitsu.
You told me 2 things. You wanna.
Ooh, what did I tell you?
You wanna teach people about real estate, and then you also want to become a known entity that teaches jiu-jitsu in the Tampa Bay area. So you kind of want to go to the teaching side, and I think you have 2 of these skills and experiences that you can pass on to other people, and one of them is obviously the real estate side and all the knowledge you build there, but the other side is the jiu-jitsu, because you're a pretty legit brown belt.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that.
Yeah, being beat up every other day.
Yeah, you're fine.
And fucking getting razor armbarred and lassoed, swept, and all kinds of weird shit done to me. Some of which has, visible consequences. I'd say you're a pretty legit brown belt.
Cheers, Dave. So, Thacker and Acai, Kevin Barry, we all got, promoted to brown at the same time. And,
it's the ugliest belt color, just so you know.
Dude, it sucks. All the fucking accessories are just shit brown. Dude, purple was great. Like, everything's like royal purple, not even really flashy, but just kind of nice and stunning. Blue belt's good too, but purple's really...
It's the right color.
Purple's got some cool shit.
Yep.
Brown, it just looks like fucking a turd.
Yeah.
Just fucking brown.
Well, luckily, it's the shortest belt, I think, right?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
I don't know. We're not going to talk about that.
For me, white belt fucking still took like 2.5 years.
Well, because you travel, we talk about this, but you're here now and you're going to be committed and it's going to be good. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So, when we got our brown, when I got my brown, I felt really good. I felt confident. And again, I think this happens at every belt. As I'm getting into my brown more and more and more, I always ask, hey, how did this feel? How did that pressure feel? How was this tight? Was this good? Was this that?
Solid.
Because that next step is the black.
And I think you're there, to be honest.
No, let's not. Hang on.
Sal and I literally talked about this yesterday.
Hold on, blue belt. So when you hit that black, you gotta have that. I feel like I have to have that expectation and that experience of being able to answer anybody's question.
At what level of black? Because black is an infinity.
Black is infinity. Black just keeps going. And everybody says this, and I really believe this. You don't start learning jiu-jitsu until you get your black.
Right.
And being at the upper purple, 2-stripe or 3-stripe, 4-stripe purple, and where I'm at now as an early brown.
It's a big difference, dude. I rolled with you when you were purple, and I rolled with you fucking now, and it's a big difference. It's a different game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you feel that way or not, but it's like it fucking feels like it from my side, and it feels like that from everybody's side who you roll on. It's kind of like watching your kids grow, because if you are with them in the house all the time, you don't notice them become adults. But then like that aunt comes over that hasn't seen them for fucking 4 years,
right.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, when did they? Last time I remember they were a baby, and now they're like 6 feet, and you're like, what do you mean? It's like there's the same kid to me, because I haven't fucking like walked away. I see him every day. Yeah. So to you, it feels the same. But again, yesterday, after I took Joe to guitar lesson at Sal's, we're talking about, obviously we're all talking about jiu-jitsu all the time.
Yeah, it always happens.
And so, Sal says like, look, man, I feel Andy is like black belt level. And I'm like, I would agree with you, because the pressure has gotten better. The precision of the attacks has gotten better. there isn't anything I can literally do to you, even if I try as hard as I can. And that's a big fucking difference. And I feel fairly competent.
You made me stand up today.
Huh?
You made me stand up.
I did make you stand up today. Hell yeah, that's a win.
That's a win. That was good. I was like, fuck, I got to get up.
Fuck yeah, passing, baby.
I don't know. And it's still, and actually this goes into, that humble humility. I still just always feel there's so much room for improvement. Like, and I don't even think I'm nitpicking myself. It's just, there's some general, like talking to a professor today, what I asked him about, I was like, hey, I'm trying the first time for how to control these arms when I've got somebody from the back. I was completely wrong. I was backwards.
That's why I couldn't throw the leg over.
That's why I couldn't throw a leg over. Dude, I'm 10 years in. I mean, I'll be 10 years in January.
Yeah, but that's a fairly technical. How often do you have somebody with both hands controlled from the back? I never have that. It's like the fact that you can get there is already a sign of competence. And then now you're asking the next steps. Like, all right, I got somebody in a situation that 90% of people in the belts below me can't get to.
Yeah.
And now I got to figure out how to position his hand so now I can submit him from that fucking position that nobody else can get. It's like the only people who I've seen hit that type of control is you and Kevin. And Kevin's another brown belt. So it's
I know. I don't know. I try to have a large amount of humility and humbleness, because I know anybody that walks through that door, it can change in a snap.
Yeah, but it changes like that for people at black belt level, because it go to any competition, and even our professor and even people that beat him at competition still get beat by other black belts.
I know, and that's what's crazy.
There's crazy levels to this shit.
So, speaking of, I just got to touch on this just for everybody. So, we were at PANS. Was it this year?
Yeah, this year.
Okay. So, we're at PANS, and we're watching the black belt division, and we're watching, is it Schlosser?
Schlosser, yeah.
Schlosser.
Vitor Schlosser.
We're watching Vitor Schlosser, and Vitor Schlosser, Rodrigo, I love you, just blew through our professor. Animal of a man. And we're watching Vitor go against Marcus Tinoco,
who then blows through him,
who just fucking blew through Vitor Schlosser. It was crazy. That guy had no answers for Tinoco.
And he hadn't competed for 5 years or some shit.
Yeah, with some injury or some shit like that. He was like, I'm done, whatever. And it's fucking crazy.
And all of these people are black belts.
Yeah, all black belts.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy. They're all in that 30 to 40-year-old range.
Correct. It's because and they're in that range after doing 35 to 25 years in jiu-jitsu. A lot of them started at 15 or 14, and now they're 45, and they're black belts based. They've been black belts for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's dude,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's really crazy. And it's, so when you and I drill and we're working our position, and even today we're working that K-guard thing, and I'm looking down, I'm making you lift your arms, and I'm looking at where your hand is, and I'm looking where my knee is, and I'm looking where your knee is, and I'm asking, professor, I'm like, hey, does this need to be here, there? Those are those small little nuances that took me until upper purple to where I am now to start asking those questions, because it's those little stupid tiny details that make such a difference. Remember what professor showed today, when someone's got shin on shin,
yeah,
and they're going for single leg X,
yeah,
and he's like, all you got to do is turn your knee, put it to the mat.
Yeah, it works. Clearly works.
You know how many times I've tried to get single leg X on him, and all he does is he just goes, puts the knee down,
and you don't notice it until he brings it up. Once you ask the question, he'll bring that up.
I'm not going to say it's embarrassing, but it's one of these little things that are it's ticking in the back of my mind. I have never scored a point on him.
Yeah, have you tried?
Yes, I try. I try all the time.
That's how I fucking feel.
I've never scored a point on him, ever. I think I got an advantage one time in no-gi, and he laughed at me because I tried to hook in for a heel hook. I didn't even sweep him. I just kind of went in for a leg attack, kind of caught him off guard. And I was going for a heel hook, and he just looked at me, just started laughing, shook his head, and just grabbed my neck and just, come here, and just he got out of it.
Yeah. Well, there's an experience difference and there's a weight difference.
Yeah.
It's a size and weight difference too. It's like,
I know. But it's just, and now I remember when I first started, white belt, very early blue belt.
when did you start? 40?
I started at 40. Like I turned 40 in December, and then that January I signed up and started.
What was your problem? Midlife crisis or a divorce?
Yes.
Uh,
No.
it's funny because, anybody who comes through the door,
Yeah.
that's the first thing we ask. Like, why are you here? You look like you're, 40s. What happened?
Yeah.
What are you going through that
I
fucking
don't
got you to
think-
come here?
I don't think it was what happened to me. I think I was just so during my divorce, I did a lot of running. I think I did 10 marathons. Couldn't tell you how many half marathons. Couldn't tell you how many 5Ks, 10Ks. Like every weekend, I was running, just running. I'd get a bad phone call from the lawyer on a Tuesday night. I'd leave the house at 8 o'clock. I wouldn't come back till 11:30. I would go run fucking 20 miles. And Shayna, God bless her heart, she'd hop on that bike on Saturdays and Sundays, and we'd go over to Davis Island, and I'd go run 20 miles, and she'd ride the bike and I'd just run. Dude, I was so fucking angry and upset and just triggered. I just ran. I just ran. So anyhow, turning 40.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it was literally Forrest Gump stuff. You just run. You just put your head down, you just run. I mean, there's something really about that. I don't even think, like, looking back on it, I was like, oh, maybe I should have started jiu-jitsu. Wasn't in the right headspace.
Mm-hmm.
I would have got fucked up. I would have blew out my knee,
Quit,
tore my neck up. Like, I wasn't in the right spot.
You got to be in the right mindset to start because plenty of people quit, man.
A lot of people quit.
Yeah.
So at 40, I think I was just done. I was done working out. I was done running. I used to wrestle, and in my early 20s, we were doing some no-gi jiu-jitsu stuff in the back of this attorney's office, and that lasted a little bit until the attorney sold his office, and I just kind of missed it. And yeah, so I started jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So
nothing like hugging with other sweaty men.
Oh yeah, rolling around with pajamas, it's great. It's interesting. It really is.
But you enjoy teaching.
I enjoy teaching. I really do. And I get a lot out of it, because when you ask me a question, if you're like, hey, Andy, I want to work on going to north-south, getting my Kimura, and going to an arm bar or just a regular, Kimura grip, whatever. So yes, I know how to do that. I can explain it to you, but I will look it up, and I'll watch Tinoco. I'll watch Schlosser. I'll watch Marigali. I'll watch the brothers, Anderson and Muniz. I'll watch them, Eric Muniz and Anderson Muniz. I'll watch them, and I'll see those little tiny techniques that they do, and all of a sudden it'll be like, oh yeah, that clicks in my head, and then I teach you, and now I absorb that because I taught you that. It's really fulfilling.
It's rewarding, yeah.
It is rewarding.
Yeah.
It's nice. And especially, I really like teaching I always forget if they're
teens?
Tiny or little. I don't.
Oh, little ninjas?
I like the 10-year-olds, the 6 to 10-year-olds, or the 6 to 12-year-olds, whatever because it's when you show them something and they get it, and they actually like understand
and they
it.
start doing it.
Oh,
And
dude, their little fucking eyeballs light up. Like we got this little kid. His name's Dominic. This fucking kid, you can tell him how to do a flower sweep, and this little fucker, he will grab that sleeve and he will pull that arm and he'll grab those pants and he's throwing them over, and it's crazy. And he's like 7 or 8.
That's cool.
It's awesome. And then the same thing with the teens. Like I didn't think I was making an impression on the teens.
Until you fucking smash that 13-year-old.
Dude, that's a big kid. We'll talk about him in a second. So, we got a teen in there. His name's Mark. And a few weeks ago, he asked me, he was like, hey, how do you get out of closed guard? And I'm like, look, this is the only thing I do for closed guard.
Don't get in there.
No. Well, yes. But he's a big kid. So I'm like, look, open up those lapels, get that grip, control the sleeve. You stand up, you arch your back. I'm like, this is all I do. I don't care what the size of the person is. That's all I do. And if it wasn't this week, it was last week. He came up to me and say, "Hey, Coach Andy, I'm opening up that lapel, And I'm trying to stand up, but like they keep sitting up on me. And I'm like, oh, look at you. You actually fucking listened. I mean, good for you. And then I showed him, he wasn't holding both lapels. He was only holding the one, trying to put him down. And,
Like sliding off to the side.
He was sliding off to the side. But it was,
that's good.
it felt good that he actually like listened and he was trying to implement what I was showing him. And I got to tell you.
You actually have pretty good technique because I show up to these fundamentals classes where you show the white belts what to do. It's pretty fucking technical. Like you get into the weeds, dude.
Well, and
in fact, I would have stopped, and you still, you get in.
Yeah,
and you get in,
I do, and I probably should back it down. And I do. I try not to. If the fundamentals class is small, I'm going to nitpick.
Yeah,
because there's only 2 guys there.
Right.
But if I've got 6 or 8, we're glossing.
We're going through it. Yep.
Yeah. And that was Tattoo Brian.
Yeah.
When he would show up by himself.
He's getting better.
He's getting better because he showed up by himself a lot, and I just look at him and I go, what do you want to learn today, bro? And he's like,
he's playing Lasso now.
I know, fucker.
Good for him. Good for him.
But he would, he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, look, man, it's just you. What do you want to learn?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd ask, and I'm, all right, here we go, bro. This is what we do. And he's calming down.
He's actually pretty good to roll with.
He's pretty good. Kevin Scroggy.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's a good
He's
roll.
getting very good.
He's a good roll.
Yeah.
He's a good roll because he is taller, he is bigger, but he's mindful of not, like he's really trying to use the technique.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just trying to like bull you over.
No, he's getting pretty technical with the legs especially.
Oh yeah. Oh, and
he's doing leg entries.
He's being a motherfucker. Yeah. You got to watch that single leg X. He'll get in there, and he's got long legs, so if he gets in, he will elevate you, and now you're fucked. You got a problem.
Yeah.
Even for me, I got a problem. Like you got to start addressing shit. But yeah, it's teaching jiu-jitsu, and some of the stuff that I want to try to work on and going forward. I would like to offer a service to where I'm providing people individual one-on-one instruction or small groups, a 2 group, a 3 group, a 4 group, but that's it. Like I have no desire to have a gym or anything like that, but just to offer those small little private lessons to help that, new white belt, early blue belt, even purple. I mean, I think I got some tips I could give to a purple belt. I don't know. But just to help them break through a couple little transitions that they're getting stuck at. Because I got to tell you, now, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Zach Allen actually spent a lot of time with me, hooking me into the lasso game.
Did he play lasso?
I don't know if he necessarily plays lasso, but he understands lasso. So he was either an upper blue or low purple. We did 1 or 2 private lessons on some fundamental lasso sweeps. And then from there, that triggered, that snapped, and I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Did you choose lasso or did lasso choose you? It's like you're known as Lasso Andy in the community.
Am I?
Yeah, you're people ask.
Is that
people ask about your lasso all the time.
I thought I was daytime Andy, which is good. I'd rather be Lasso Andy.
You're Lasso Andy. You're not daytime Andy.
Yeah.
You might actually be the only Andy left. I think we had a couple, and
for a while.
For a while, there was like 3.
There was like 3 or 4. There was a lot, and I'm like, I'm the only Andy. All you fuckers are Andrew or something else. I'm Andy.
Lasso Andy. That's who you are.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good, and it's good. Watching your game develop. It's good. It's interesting. I enjoy helping you and giving you little tips.
It's hard, man, because it's like you don't even know what the fuck your game is. And as soon as I started developing it,
my game or your game?
My game.
Yeah.
It's like I was developing a pretty good game, I thought, and then I blew my knee out, and that had to change the whole game. Changes everything because I used to play that whole side, and now I'm playing on the other side, and now my lasso's on the other side, my K-guard's on the other side, which is actually not a bad thing because all of a sudden you start becoming competent in these non-standard sides that people aren't used to, and so you actually end up doing better because now you're like fighting like a lefty rather than like a righty.
Yep.
And nobody's used to that.
Right. And what you'll see when you're attacking the opposite side and people don't like it, anyone with some good experience, what they're going to do is they're going to back up. And when people back up, that gives you your angle to get into something different. So everything's a setup.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, Andy only plays lasso, and he plays lasso, and he plays lasso. Well, all of a sudden, I'll start putting foot on bicep, foot to shoulder, collar sleeve. And then everyone starts dropping their arms, and then I lasso in.
That's right.
Because I'm using everything else. But if you don't respect what I'm doing, I'm going to hit you with, foot on bicep, and I'm going to sweep you. Or I'm going to hit you with collar sleeve, and I'm going to scissor sweep you. Or I'm going to butterfly sweep you. Like, something's going to happen if you don't respect what I'm doing.
Something's going to happen regardless, to be honest.
Because I want my lasso.
You want the lasso. Yeah. All roads lead to lasso. It's funny because all my roads used to lead to turtle.
Yeah, get out of turtle.
I know. This week I've been playing fucking more turtle. I'm just tired, man. This 5 day.
I really think okay. So we're gonna talk about that. So, and this is the good thing about me starting at 40. Me starting at 40, I'm 5.5 feet tall. I'm 150 pounds.
170.
I wish I was 170 pounds. I'm not okay. When I started, I'm saying when I started, I was 150 pounds. Being 40, being 150 pounds, being 5.5, being 5'6", I was one of the smallest guys in the gym, just getting smashed.
Same problem.
So
it forces you to understand your limitation and become more technical. Actually,
It does.
It's a gift, not a curse.
Because you can't smash, because a lot of guys are 180, 185 pounds and they're 5'10".
Yeah.
Rodrigo Professor attracts big dudes. Like, we have big dudes in our school.
It's 200 and up, dude.
We went to Hobson Mora. Everybody was our size.
Our size, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I know.
They still fucked us up.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
But they were our size. There was no pressure. It was a different game.
It was a different game.
Right.
Yeah. So, that forced me to really start going, okay, I am not stronger than this guy. I cannot bench press this guy off of me. I got to figure this shit out.
In fact, he's going to do that to me. So I got to start developing my moves around knowing that I can't hold side control on somebody who's double my size.
Correct. And Professor's second black belt that he gave out was to Muchacho, Safety Harbor Jiu-Jitsu. And I took a couple privates from Muchacho because he is our size or smaller. Like, he's a little dude. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that resonated with me that he said, he's like, Andy, fucking pull guard. Pull guard, pull guard, pull guard. Keep pulling guard. You're going to get smashed. You're going to get the shit. You're going to get your face smashed. You're going to get your shoulder smashed. But just keep pulling guard because it takes longer to pull guard in an effective manner for a sweep or a submission than it does to learn to pass.
You're talking about open guard.
No, just any guard.
Just
pull guard.
Pull into guard.
Whatever guard you're comfortable in. We pull open guard because we're little, because we can't put our fucking... I have a hard time putting my legs around Brad.
Yeah.
Brad ain't that big.
No. Right.
But he's a little thick. But I can't put my fucking legs around him. And, our new purple belt, Annie. I can't put my legs around that fucker. He's too big. So, Muchacho was like, pull guard, pull guard, pull guard. And this is some of the stuff I know I've told you.
Yeah.
I can teach you to pass effectively in a weekend.
I'm almost there.
You're pretty much there.
Yeah.
With passing, because once you understand the principle of passing, you can pass.
I've been passing for like a year now, actually.
I know.
Well, we talked about this because actually that's when I started passing.
You're doing great. You're doing great passing. But pulling guard effectively is hard.
Yeah.
It takes being smashed at our gym.
It's hard. It's all fucking half guard.
Because it's big dudes.
Yeah.
It's big dudes.
Yeah.
And if you fuck up, if you miss, they're collapsing those knees
they're
together.
They're around the head. You're fucked, dude.
You're fucked. They're squishing the knees, their head and the hip, they're passing. So that's always my thing with, and you know what? One of the newer white belts asked me something about passing and pulling guard, and I'm like, you know what, buddy? Just pull guard, pull guard, pull guard. You just got to pull guard. So actually, I'm glad you brought up jiu-jitsu. Nobody's asked me anything about jiu-jitsu, especially, since I got my brown. So Rodrigo every year has me help him with this snowbird that comes down, and he only does privates with Rodrigo. I think you met him. The old guy smells like cigarettes. Fucking terrible. I don't know. I forget his name. But
Probably Andy.
His name's not Andy. His name's not Andy. It's like Jamie or something like that. Fucker talks so much. He just... It's not that he's not lonely. He's a retired guy and he's a snowbird. So, training.
From Canada?
No, I don't know where he's from. But so going to any gym whether it's crunch or jiu-jitsu, like it's a social event from him. He wants that talking stuff.
Social event for all of us.
It is.
Let's like fucking have the game, dude.
It is. We all talk shit.
Look at the shit
So
we talk about during stretching.
Oh Jesus, that's terrible. So I just got my brown, and it was very nice to hear him say this, but on the same aspect too, once he said it, I kind of like just shook my head. No, he was like, yeah, when I see you next year, you're gonna have your black, and I'm like, nope. And Rodrigo is next to him and just kind of pats him on the shoulder. He was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but okay, 2 years.
But there's a reason. There's a reason for brown, and there's a reason why we need to spend our time in brown belt. Like, we need that. We need
There's
that.
a reason you need to spend time in every belt.
There is. And
I'm saying it's a 2-year roadmap, probably.
yeah, I mean, whatever it is.
You're a year in almost.
I don't know.
8 months.
10 months, 12 days, and 4 hours.
There you go. See.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
You probably already have your fucking black belt keychain ordered.
No, I
and
don't.
a license plate.
No, I don't. No, I don't. But I have told the wife, because I'm funny with the rings. And actually, I have told her, I was like,
Need
honey,
a black ring with the onyx ring with a little red stripe on it.
No, not that, but I did. I was like, honey, and she knows. So finally, and it's something that, we all have to, thank our spouses, our partners, or whatever, our wives. She didn't really buy into jiu-jitsu until I was halfway through purple. Think about that. Halfway through purple for me, I was 7 years in. Or a little longer.
Maybe you couldn't get the hooks in properly with her.
Maybe, I don't know.
But
she, it was one of these, as a white belt, she's like, oh, this is a nice little hobby, this, that, and the other.
Right.
And then blue, she's like, all right, look, dude, you're fucking in the cult. Like, calm down. And then as we got into purple, she's like, oh, shit, like, this is
it's
real.
Serious,
like,
serious,
this is your thing. And, I remember when I got the brown, I called her up. I was like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, oh, nothing. I was like, oh, did you bring lunch to work today? She's like, no. And I was like, you know what? I'll stop at Wawa's. I'll get us some steak. She's like, oh, that'd be great.
And you showed up with a brown belt
and,
on?
No, I didn't. It was not on, fucker. It wasn't on, but I did have it, and I had it in my jacket, and I pulled it out, and I put it on the table. And I teared up. I started crying because it was a big thing.
It's a big event.
It's a big event. And
people fucking cry.
She really,
I see people cry all the time.
She really got it. Like, oh fuck, like this is never.
The man has a problem. Yeah,
this is never going away.
Yeah.
And jokingly, she says to all of our friends and this, that, and the other, she's like, oh yeah, it's a fucking cult. They all have belt. She refers to the Nexum. The cult thing that I told you to watch.
Oh, Nexium, is that
Nexium or something like that?
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it was.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because they give out sashes with stripes on them.
You just need a tattoo.
And
you need a Supremacy tattoo,
no,
and then you're good.
I'm naked. I don't have tattoos. So anyway, it was good. It was good. And
next thing you know, you'll be telling everybody, hello, my name is Andy. I'm a black belt. We know people who do that.
We know people who do that, and I am not. So it is interesting. So all my friends know I do jiu-jitsu. There's only a handful that know my rank. Like, that's it. Like, I don't.
It's hard to tell because your ears are not fucked up.
It's funny you say that, but then I just got my hair cut, and Alex.
It's there, but it's not as some people have it. It's not like
it's not like mauled. But there are there's a kid at he used to actually train at Supremacy. He works at Crunch now, and he kind of caught me, and he was like, hey, you train? And I was like, I don't know why.
Train what? Yeah.
And he was like, your ears. And I was like, oh, and that started the conversation. And he was like, oh, I was at Supremacy, this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And we just sparked up a conversation. So it's there, but it's not. They're not totally fucked up.
They're not brown belt ears. I've seen brown belt ears.
Look at Rodrigo's ears.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because probably he plays a top game. That's why.
So talking about, but I play guard. I play a bottom game. I lasso Andy. That's guard.
Yeah.
I don't let people get the fuck around my head.
Yeah.
So it was funny. So as late white belt, early blue belt, everybody was getting cauliflower ear. I mean, my inner ear blew up. Like everybody was getting it, and I remember Rodrigo. He's like, "Yeah, I don't understand this cauliflower shit. Like, I don't know what you guys are getting at." Blah, blah,
bro,
blah,
because
blah.
you're fucking 230 and
No,
6'5".
no. Hang on. So then we did like a special trip up to Marcio Cruz's, and he rolled with Marcio, and all of a sudden, like,
His ear blew up.
Like the next day over at Supremacy, he was like, "Fuck, my ears hurt," and we were like, "Thank God somebody fucking put a beating on you."
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Because once you're a certain size, you end up playing the top, and you don't ever get smashed. It's like you might lose, but not by smashing.
Yeah.
You might get like a armbar ripped.
Have you ever seen Marcio?
Oh yeah, I've seen him compete. We were at Tampa last year, and he was competing.
You ever see him next to Professor?
Oh, he's like almost double the size.
Dude,
he's double the width.
He's fucking huge.
He's big,
a big dude.
He's big.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
I remember we were in the Atlanta airport, and I'm watching, Professor and Marcio walking in front of me, and it looked like Dad and Junior next to each other.
Yeah.
That's a big
He's
human being.
big,
He's
yeah.
a big human being. Oh, man. So anyway, yeah, Brown's.
Yeah, brown's a good belt. I mean, it's
Brown's
like,
a good belt. You got to have it. Shitty accessories. Everything looks like shit brown.
Yeah, it's not a good color.
It's not a good color. But there's a reason why we have it, and you stay in it, and
I'd say you're about a year away.
nah.
I mean, you got one stripe?
Mm,
One?
Yeah.
One's coming. I think within the next month you'll have the second stripe.
I don't know. I had a goal when I started at 40. I was like, you know what? When I want my black before 50. But life happens and training happens. You get fucked up. You get an injury, whether it's through your ego not tapping, or whether it's your ego like I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do this, or whether it's your ego in. Everybody knows I like really fucked up my knee. I tore my meniscus really bad, and I did it because I allowed a very large person to go like hammer me into rolling, like just hounded me, and I'm like, no. He was a 300-pound dude.
Who is this? All right.
He was somebody that was at the school, big dude, 300-pounder, and not a fat 300-pounder.
Oh, it's like
linebacker 300-pounder.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
And he's like, no, I'll be good. I'll be fun. I'll be this. I'll be that. And, was he good and was he okay? He was, but it just gets to a point where there's a certain amount of size. I butterfly hooked in.
Yeah,
and he sprawled, and my knee went.
Yeah, same
that,
problem.
Right, and that was it. And I should have been good enough to be like, no, dude, you're too big. Like, shit can happen.
Sometimes it's okay to say no, but it's hard.
It's hard.
Because again, it's like you don't think about these things, and it's not like they're being malicious either. You just
he was not malicious.
It was just like stupid shit happens.
It's not even, and it wasn't even a stupid move. I butterflied in, which now at my level, I would never do that to a person that size. But at that level,
you think butterflies.
I'm like, I'll butterfly in. I'll be able to elevate him. Fuck no, I ain't elevating a 300-pound guy. Fuck no.
Same problem with me.
Right.
It's all from playing butterfly, because I was developing a pretty decent butterfly game, and then fucking the knee happened.
Yeah, because we all watched Marcelo Garcia, and we're like, that little fucker got a butterfly game.
Hell yeah, it's great.
But he's 185 pounds. So, and he doesn't miss leg day. So he squats.
And you don't know what kind of knee problems he has either.
Correct. He could be all fucked up.
Right. The Marcelo Garcia of 20 years ago that was winning in Marcelo Garcia of today is probably not the same knee.
Yeah. It ain't.
So yeah, shit happens.
Shit happens. And you know what? I really do appreciate, and I know I downplay it, but I do appreciate your compliments about my style and about my technical ability. And it's even hard to look at you about that, because it is, jiu-jitsu is a very humiliating and humbling thing to do, because it's so fucking technical, and there's always so much room to improve, to where even though you're like, hey, you're already at this level, this, that, and the other, I can sit there and shake my head and go, nope, I'm not at that level yet. Like, I'm not there yet.
I don't think anybody's ready for the level that they're at, because I don't feel like I'm adequately blue. Well, no, I feel I feel adequately blue. But I imagine when I get promoted to purple, whenever that happens, I won't feel adequately purple, because there's a period between the end of blue and the beginning of purple that feels identical.
Oh yeah.
And so same thing with you. You're 10 months into brown, but 10 months into my blue, I felt the same as a fucking 4-stripe white.
12 days and 7 hours.
Yeah, 12 days and 7 hours. At some point, I think you pass that threshold and you start feeling like you're actually legit brown belt, because you can start seeing that you can control people that are larger than you, that are almost the same level, with the type of pressure that you put on people.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have had when you were purple. And again, just rolling.
Give me that cup.
There you go.
For those of you playing along, we are having another drink.
Rolling with you at purple and rolling with you at brown, I feel your game has improved significantly, specifically from the point of pressure. Yeah. Because I don't remember this type of pressure being put on me even 5-6 months ago.
And dude, you know what's crazy? I feel there are some days I feel super light.
Dude,
like you just push me off of you.
It's possible. Highly unlikely though. Yeah,
cheers.
Us. You know, that kind of game is weird because you're never ready for it.
Yeah.
And it's humbling in the sense of not just jiu-jitsu, but again, from a human perspective, because everybody develops a certain level of competence in their field of expertise. So you have like these, lawyers and business people and people of all different walks of life come into jiu-jitsu, and they're all rolling together. And it's like, you can have somebody who has a successful fucking $10 million business being smashed by a guy that runs a landscaping firm. And that's pretty fucking humbling, because like you've spent all your life like building up a certain ego about yourself. And then here you are like coming in and it's like this old, the guy that's 10 years older than you, that's fucking your size, like fucking killing you, bro. And I can't do shit.
You have to like overdo the old.
No, but look, you know what I'm saying. And I'm sure the same shit happens with me. Like somebody comes in and they're like a 25-year-old at the top of their game and they just started jiu-jitsu and they feel like they're fucking great. And then it's like a 43-year-old blue belt fucking kills them with my scarf hold. And they tap from pressure and the shit sucks. It's not even a submission. It's literally just pressure on your fucking, ribs, which I've tapped people with just pressure on the ribs many times. And again, I'm sure that shit's humbling too.
Yeah, there's, the pressure. Fucking Jeremy and his pressure.
That's a good game, actually. I think what you realize at a certain point is that the pressure trumps all technique.
So one of the best classes that Jeremy ever taught, Gi, I think it was no gi, and he was emphasizing the pressure of just keep going, keep not necessarily attacking, but just don't pause. Just keep going forward, throw the legs to the side, and just keep going down. Clear the arms and just get in there, get side control. And that was a really good class that he taught because he did it as a drill. And I had the pleasure of having him as my partner. Mm-hmm. And he went first, and he was just smashing the fucking shit out of it. Like, I could not keep him, no matter how many times I pummeled my legs in, put my frames in, and he's just, just coming at me. So then we switched top to bottom. He's like, hey, Andy, just, hey, do your thing. Come at me. I'm like...
It's a good impression of a Brazilian fucking accent.
I know, it's terrible. Hey.
You should smash him, Guy, next time you see him.
So we did the switch of the drill, and I'm going at him, and like I popped up, and he's like, "See, I can't stop it." And I'm like, "No, come on, you were fucking around." He's like, "No." He's like, do your thing. So there is that bit of pressure in our game that sometimes you just got to do it. Just fucking throw the legs aside and just come at them. Back at the 2-3 stripe white belt days, I want side control. I'm coming in at you. Mm-hmm. I'm doing whatever I can to get through. Sometimes we get caught up into the technical aspect of doing things, and we forget that just sometimes you just got to get in there.
Yeah, just go forward.
Just go forward. Go forward.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is you get lethargic over time because you're rolling with the same partners all the time in the same gym, and the further away I get from a competition, the more lethargic I get. Because I just get comfortable because I know people's game.
Yeah.
And I know that I can defend most of the shit.
Yeah.
Because my defense game is pretty good. Like, worst case, I'll sit in the turtle, for like 3 minutes.
Right.
And so you just kind of
That's an excessively long time, Dave.
I mean, I've done it.
I know you have. That's why I'm bringing it up. 30 seconds, that's it.
I know.
You get enough time to catch your breath.
I know. I haven't done it in a long time. But again, I've developed the turtle to the point. And I think that's the problem with developing defensive systems for a long time and getting good at them, because you get so comfortable you just don't end up stepping out of that safe zone. And so like all the way through my white belt and pretty early through blue belt, all you're doing is fucking defending. Yeah. And so you get really good at these like defenses where you bring your elbows in and then you bring your arms to your neck, or you go into a turtle and that turtle is super tight. Even in like bottom side control, like I can survive for fucking 10 minutes sometimes. And that's, again, a gift and a curse, because on the one hand, you know you're safe, but on the other hand, you're not actually learning anything. You're just fucking sitting in that position, and you'll get good at defense, but you'll never actually win anything.
Right. Well, it's kind of like when you talked about mount the other day, how to get out of like my mount. And, I try to explain this to you. You've gotten very good at defending my attacks from mount.
And so I feel like safe. And
you feel safe, but I'm in mount.
So I'm never actually doing anything. I'm just chilling there.
Yeah, which is not a good spot. Like, you don't want to be in mount.
Especially in competition, because you're like, let's say you're down on point. Chances are if you're in mount, you're down on points.
You're down on points.
Right.
You got to get the fuck out. And that person can sit in mount forever.
Yep.
They don't have to attack.
Yep.
So you got to move. You got to do something to get out of there. And the same thing, think of it as a self-defense tactic. That person's on top of you out on the street. You got to get the fuck out of there.
Right.
And you can't go belly down.
No.
No. You got to get out.
Or turtle.
You can't turtle.
You're going to get hit in the head, bro.
Dude, you're going to get kicked like a soccer ball.
Yeah.
So, you got to open up and accept some things that you're going to get tapped, but at least you're opening up and you're trying. And this is so I know I've said this to you and I've said this to other people. As an upper belt, as an upper purple, and as my brown now, I want to see you try some shit.
And that's why I actually like rolling with higher belts, because it's safe for me to try new shit because I have no fear of losing. Because if I lose, like I lost to a brown belt.
You're supposed to.
I know. The problem with rolling with lower belts or belts that are like me, blue belts, it's you don't really want to fucking lose, though. You know what I'm saying? I know. And that's I think is another place for an ego check, because it's like you have to be humble enough to know that, hey, fuck, you get tapped by the white belt. It's like, no problem. At least like my win is learning and not beating a white belt. It's like you have to start shifting your priorities to different types of wins, not winning, but learning. Yeah. And so sometimes it's very difficult because you got somebody who's like 6 months in and I'm like 4 years in. It's like, I don't want to open up that turtle. I want to fucking, like sit in there and not get submitted. But on the other hand, like I'm wasting, 6 minute roll. I'm not doing shit, which.
But you should. So with that new 6 month person, and this was. Oh, so you know what? We won't even use.
I shouldn't even be in turtle, to be honest. That's the other thing.
We'll use me learning lasso. I'm learning lasso as a mid-level blue belt, upper blue belt, and I'm trying to lasso everybody. And I try to hit a lasso, and that big, tall white belt gets his arm around my head, and now he's in side control. Fuck. Now he's in side control.
You're still safe.
I know he's not going to tap me, but now I got to get out of side control. So it's okay to get in those really shitty positions and get down that.
Just don't give up the submission.
But just keep trying that stuff. Even if it's the same level of experience, belt level, or lower, you should be trying stuff, because you can't get better if you don't try. And this is one of the reasons why I like Kevin Scroggy. That motherfucker will try some random bullshit. He will invert, he will lasso, he will barambolo, he'll try some crazy shit, and he'll get caught, busted, and he doesn't care. He tries again.
That's great.
It is.
It's a good mindset.
It is, and it's hard to do that, especially at his size and age, because he's younger. He's in his 20s, and he's a bigger dude, and he's strong, and he's athletic. So for him to really kind of,
open up,
fucking kudos to him. Good deal. He is practicing like a smaller dude, and maybe it's because he's high. I don't know.
It's probably.
He fucking stinks.
Hugo was super high the other day.
He was so fucking high. Sorry, buddy. Love you. Mean it. It's okay. I don't have a problem with it. It's okay.
It's funny. Just he came in with a cloud. It was like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. No, but it. I do greatly appreciate you and everybody the compliments and all that, and I don't try to downplay it. It's just it's very humbling to hear that, and self-critiquing and all that. We always try to strive to be better, and I really do like to try to help you guys, and you know this as well as any. You've asked me like, hey man, how the fuck do I get out of your lasso? And I've told you how to do it. I have no problem telling anybody how to beat my fucking game, because if I can tell you how to beat my game,
you have to get so much better. It's actually improvement for you.
It's
Absolutely.
It's improvement for me. I have to get better. I got to figure out a different fucking shenanigan to get into my lasso now. So, and that's kind of one of the things you said the other day about our gym. We're very member. What do you say? Member run, member oriented.
Yeah, member run.
Member cultured. We're a culture of members. Because I really think you could ask you could ask Thacker, you could ask Kevin Acai, you can ask Mike Ward. Hey, you do this to me. How do I beat? How can I get past?
I'll show you.
Well, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Because we all know if we show you and you do it, oh shit, I got to change.
I got to deal with it. Yeah.
Now I got to figure something out. I showed you that stupid, and it wasn't even my thing. That Craig Jones grip in no-gi.
With stepping on the leg.
Stepping on the leg and putting your thumb up versus your thumb down. Dude, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
And I have told you, Sal, Mike, Brad. I haven't told Kevin.
Are we all doing it?
You're all doing it.
Oh, good.
And it's a fucking problem.
Good.
You guys don't realize it because I'm addressing it super quick. Yeah. So if you guys would stick with it a little bit longer, you'll see that I've got to get away from you and create space.
Stand up, actually. Tactical stand up.
And every time I get away from you, I'm giving you an angle to come in. You guys haven't caught that yet, but it's always there.
All right, good to know.
It's there. You guys, you're just missing it. It's
a fraction of a second where like you can step in.
Yep.
Because as you're scooting out,
I've got to get away from you, and as I'm getting away from you, that's your time to drop to a knee and come in. Almost kind of like a standing knee slice thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you guys to do that because that's a real thing. Like when I go to compete, those brown belts are gonna grab that leg like that, and I've got to deal with it. I've got to be able to understand how to change my angle.
What did that last guy do that you competed against?
Oh, dude,
because you
fucking hammered
you
me.
ended up on either side control or like you ended up in a shitty position pretty quickly.
I did a really great job.
I don't remember seeing you that quickly in a shitty position. Other than the pants fight, and fucking his family was right next to us, and they're all screaming, "Kill him!
I know,
Dad, kill him!"
I did a really good job of tapping hands. We did the fist bump. I looked great. I hopped
funny.
Around a little bit. No, I just
it was quick because
I went to lasso in and he countered it, and I was not fast enough
to counter the counter
to address it. He beat me to the punch and
did he go back? Like what did he do?
I think he pummeled his hand. He pummeled his hand, went back a little bit, and walked around and got around my head. And once you pummel that hand and get around my head, it's over. It's done. And I held on too long. He got the side control, and at our level, it's a fucking snowball. Like that dude, he is not in. It's competition. He's juiced up. We're all amped up.
Fucking everybody's juiced up.
Yeah, it went from bad.
Did he feel like juiced up? Everybody fucking feels juiced up. Bro.
Stop it. No, he felt like he felt like a fucking brown belt that knew what the fuck he was doing, and he was like, "Motherfucker, I'm on top. I am not getting off." And I got worked. I openly admit I got worked. I looked really good, shaking his hand and fist bumping. I looked good, and then I didn't.
Yeah,
he fucking worked me. He worked me
good.
hard.
Well, I still recommend you go back to competing. I know you wanted to quit.
No, I got this elbow thing going on. The elbow thing really hurts.
Yeah.
It's bad. And what's crazy is it's nothing that I do in training does it. It's my normal day-to-day activity that triggers my elbow, and it hurts all day. So I gotta figure something out. And I'm still not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm eating ibuprofen and Aleve, but I'm not doing any icing. I'm not doing any stretching. You know, I'm being lethargic with that.
No, you're also fucking using that elbow every day.
Yeah.
Well, we're 3 hours in.
Are we? Oh, Jesus, dude, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We've now hit the Joe Rogan Experience length.
All right. So what have we learned today?
I don't know.
We've learned a bunch about.
We talked about real estate. That was good.
Yeah, we learned a bunch about real estate. It's still a viable investment options if done right, even if we're talking about primary residence.
Yeah.
It's a good way to trap income that's untaxable or deferred taxable.
Yep.
And
it's good to be the bank if you can be it.
Yeah,
and you know what? I want to hop in with that. To be the bank, you don't need $500,000 to be the bank. You can be the bank.
Couple of hundred.
No.
Not even?
You can even fund the rehab for somebody.
Yeah, I guess
you can still put a mortgage on a property, a $50,000 mortgage, and rehab it as a hard money, and run it as a hard money lender.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on where you can enter. And it sounds like there's a lot of places to enter the real estate game, because you can enter it as a hard money lender on the purchase price. You can enter as a hard money lender on the rehab price. You can enter as somebody on the Airbnb side. You can enter as somebody who actually just does the work and uses somebody else's hard money. You can enter as somebody who puts a bunch of money into the purchase price of a owned property, owned primary homestead property, and then when you sell it, you can owner finance, and then, so there's like a whole bunch of places you can enter into that thing.
Yes, all kinds of places. There really is. It doesn't have to be, and this is what people get stuck on. They kind of get their horse blinders, and they're like, "Oh, this is all I've learned. This is all I can do. This is it." No, there's a lot of different ways to get involved, and
obviously the numbers have to work.
The numbers always have to
look
work.
At the numbers, but a lot of the times the real estate decision is not necessarily a financial decision, but it's also, as you said, kind of like an emotional decision, because it's a physical asset. You need a place to live. You need some shelter. You need some roof over your head.
Well, and that's that end product if you're going in as some sort of investor.
Correct.
Hard money lender, or you want to be the guy swinging the hammer. I think a lot of people don't realize the power of being that bank. And it doesn't take a couple $100,000. If you've got $50,000, $20,000, $30,000, even that small number, there's a rehab guy out there that bought a property that needs some funding for his rehab. Mm-hmm. And you can put a mortgage on that property, and you can collect your points, and you can collect your interest, and you did not swing the hammer.
Yeah. I would say that even at the very worst case, where it's a zero-sum game, and you almost make nothing or very little, there's a difference between having money in your account that's ready to be spent, and people looking at that money and they're like, "Oh fuck, we have some income. Let's spend that shit on cars and hookers and cocaine," Or you can put that money into a real estate property, and even if the property doesn't grow much, you live in it for more than 2 years and you sell it, you're still going to get all that money back. And that money is essentially safe from you wasting it.
Right. Now, and then two, even if the property doesn't grow that much in equity and value, if you're the lender, you still made your points and your interest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's a different game playing the lender than it is anything else. And this is what was brought to my attention in the most recent years. The lender's where it's at. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing we learned is, nobody's ever ready for whatever belt rank they're at. So
no, dude, I remember I got my blue belt and I got fucking smashed the next day. I'm like, dude, this thing's broken.
Yeah, same. I get smashed. 2 years into my blue belt, I still get smashed. Yeah. And sometimes it's by white belts, and it's not a problem. Yeah. Some shit's always improving. In order for you to up your game and to improve, you have to be humble enough to change your goal to learning rather than winning.
Yeah.
Because if you're winning the battle, doesn't necessarily mean you're winning the long game.
If you're winning all the time at blue belt against other blue belts, you are not opening your game.
Absolutely. Because, I can...
You're
I can
playing what wins.
Absolutely. I can hold people in closed guard for 5 minutes and I won't fucking learn a thing, but I'll never lose.
Yep.
And so it's like, what the hell is the point of that?
And that's boring.
And that's not on... Yeah, it's boring and it's taxing, and it's like at some point you just look at yourself and you're like, dude, it's been fucking 2 years of me holding people in closed guard and I haven't learned shit, but they've all learned how to get out of closed guard. Right, and that's a problem. And so, you got to be humble enough.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good end.
Dave, do you have any tequila left?
Yep.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you for having me.
Yep, thanks for being here.
This was fun. This was good. We'll have to do it again. Another topic, another day, and let's finish that tequila. Let's make it an empty glass.
Cheers.
Cheers.